It all comes down to this one for all the marbles between Cotuit and Falmouth. Win and in situation, just like we expected here in Game 40 of the Cape Cod Baseball League season. Welcome into Open the Door for the final time in the regular season. Ryan Martin, Ben Haller, I'm Andrew Delapiana. It's simple as that, Ryan. Win and you're in. It comes down to that elusive Game 40.
Yeah, get your popcorn ready, fellas. It all comes down to Game 40, as you said. It's a win and you're in. Falmouth needs to beat Cotuit here, but a loss for the Commodores means that Falmouth's season is over in 2025. It's all set up after a win yesterday for Falmouth at Wareham. Put themselves in this position. Now it's going to be a lot of fireworks here to end off the regular season, my friend.
Yeah, the stars aligned perfectly for the Commodores last night, and the stars aligning on the mound as well with TJ Coates getting the start tonight. Goes against Ryan Buckler. Really feels like the perfect guy to have for Falmouth tonight.
Yeah, first of all, Buckler is a solid option for Cotuit. It worked out well for them, but it worked out perfectly for Falmouth. Just the rotation. You even go back to before yesterday's game where Falmouth needed so much to go right. They had the two Miami guys covered up. Jake Dorn yesterday, he was great, and then TJ Coates today, strikeout leader on Cape Cod. Exactly what you want if you're a Falmouth fan.
A Kane today, a Kane yesterday. Jake Dorn was phenomenal for the Commodores. Everything kind of working out for Falmouth last night with that Cotuit loss as well.
Yeah, everything's looking up right now for Falmouth, just when you least expected it after the Falmouth went on that 6-game losing streak. But you see that Bourne team that just ran-rolled Falmouth guys a couple days ago. Then Bourne goes to Lowell Park and they beat Cotuit for Falmouth. That's what the Commodores needed to make this a win-or-go-home situation. So Falmouth is thanking Bourne after getting ruled by the Bravos, set up this late-season clash and one that means a lot.
It does a whole lot. It all comes down to this between Falmouth and Cotuit. First pitch coming up at 6 o'clock.
Are you looking for that perfect pregame meal? Supreme Pizza has you covered. Its extensive menu has everything from pies and calzones to salads and subs. And with its online ordering system, delicious food is just one click away.
It's an honor to support the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Supreme Pizza is open every day of the week. Order online or stop by their store located at 147 T-Ticket Highway and try a slice today.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, President of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip one to remember. Our visitor center is located in downtown Falmouth, just off of Main Street. Come by and meet our team. The Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, your community connection.
I'm Antonio Morales from Norfolk, Massachusetts, and I'd love to get a shout out to my mom, my dad, my sister, and all my supporters.
Well, we first talked to you on June 14th for Game 1 of the Cape Cod Baseball League season at Chatham. Now you blink, and it's Game 40. For all the marbles here at Gov Fuller Field, the Cape League season comes to a close against the Cotuit Kettleers. Win, and the Commodores in the playoffs lose, and the season is over. Stage is set, and we appreciate you joining us here on Cape League TV. Alongside Ben Haller, I'm Ryan Martin. Ben, we wanted this Game 40 to be the decider, and it certainly is here against the rival Cotuit Kettleers.
We kept hinting at it all the way back to a couple of weeks ago when we saw that these two teams are two teams that were maybe trending down from the beginning of the year. It's different routes of how each team has got to the bottom. At this point, Falmouth, it was kind of a fall from grace. They were tied for first place at the halfway point of the season, but still have done enough in the last few games to make themselves or put themselves in a position for a win in game. Cotuit, they've been battling all year long in the bottom half of the West.
Two teams with a roller coaster of a 2025 season in the West Division. It's the Cotuit Kettleers in town to take on the Falmouth Commodores. Each team looking for the series decider, too, for this rivalry. It was a rocky road, as you mentioned, for the Falmouth Commodores to get here, but let's articulate it a little bit more. Our associate producer, Timmy Weiss, has a story on how we get here to Game 40, where it's a win and in situation for the Falmouth Commodores. It looks a little something like this. Timmy?
Just 5 days ago, Falmouth lost its 6th straight game of the season after a 10-3 defeat at Yarmouth Dennis. That put the team a whole 4 points out of playoff position behind Cotuit. It seemed like the team was in good spirits just 3 weeks prior when they were tied for first place with Hyannis, but all of a sudden, the playoff dreams were slipping away. However, the Commodores showed some fight, and there was a glimmer of hope just a couple days later. Coming into Wednesday's game against Hyannis, it was basically a must-win. Falmouth didn't just bounce back from its 6-game skid, though. They did it in emphatic fashion. The Commodores destroyed the Harbor Hawks 13-1, their first mercy rule in a game this season. But that same night, the Kettleers won, which meant there was still a 3-point gap separating Falmouth from playoff contention. And the job didn't get any easier, facing a Chatham team who was playing for its season the next day. But when hope seemed lost and the Commodores faced a 3-0 deficit in the bottom of the 8th, hope was restored yet again. This time, it was by a new face, Gavin Greger. A go-ahead RBI single capped off a 4-run 8th, and all of a sudden, the Commodores were riding a 2-game win streak. On top of that, the team was back to just 2 points out of the playoffs. So the journey was on. But an obstacle soon arrived at Bourne Friday. The Braves humbled the Doors with a 14-4 victory, a game Falmouth never even had a chance. To make matters worse, the Kettleers won, and the gap was back to 4 points. Yesterday against Wareham became a win-or-go-home battle. Even with a victory, the Commodores needed a loss from either Cotuit or Hyannis. With the team's season on the line, Falmouth came to play. Starter Jacob Dorm pitched a gem of 5 innings, allowing just 1 hit and 1 run. 5 runs between the 4th and the 6th brought the team over the finish line once again. Luck was also on the Doors' side that day as Cotuit and Hyannis dropped its game, which meant just 2 points separate the Commodores and the Kettleers, and just 1 behind the Harbor Hawks. Since the Commodores win the tiebreaker over Cotuit in head-to-head, it means it comes down to one final game here at the Gov. Win, and you're in. Lose, and you're saying so long to the Cape Cod Baseball League this summer. It's the Commodores versus the Kettleers at 6. Reporting from Gov Fuller Field for maybe the final time, we'll have to see, Timmy Weiss.
Thanks so much, Timmy. We hope as well that it's not your last time reporting on this Falmouth Commodores team. It's been a joy to cover the Commodores for 39 games, now game 40 of 40, whereas Timmy explains it all comes down to this. And there's one man leading the charge for this Falmouth team. It's first-year Commodores manager Jared Saltzlamakia, the third member of our crew. Andrew Delapiana had a chance to sit down with the 12-year Major League Baseball veteran and 2013 World Series champion pregame. Andrew?
Welcome back into Opening the Door for Game 40 between Cotuit and Falmouth. Andrew Delapiana joined by the head coach of the Commodores, Jared Saltzlamakia. Coach, the win last night, especially with the way Jake Dorn played in that one, how did he set the tone for you guys on the pitching end?
I mean, it's huge. The quicker you can get the defense off the field and get him in the dugout is better. Time of possession is what we call it. So he was pounding the strike zone. All his pitches were working great. I think that's what we needed as a team and all.
And then on the offensive end, the word you used before yesterday's game was to be greedy at the plate. A lot of 3-2 counts, a lot of qualities AB from these guys. What'd that say about their approach to the plate last night?
That was great. I mean, the message is we've been here all year long. Don't allow that full season to go away over the last 2 games. Keep the same approach, be greedy at the plate, don't give away at bats. Let's take our free 90s. Let's not give away free 90s, and let's just see who the last man standing is.
And you talked about last night as well that win or go home mentality is not with this team. How do you think they responded to that message last night?
I mean, they responded just like I thought they would. Just go out there and play the game. You can't really control everything. You got to control what you can control. So their at-bats, their approaches, they can control that. The pitchers getting on the mound, working quick, throwing the ball down the zone, they can control that. Defense, just make a play. Those are the things we can control. The outside factors we can't. So focus on those things and we'll be okay.
And now with TJ going tonight, he's been one of those guys that has been here all season long, a really steady pitcher. Why is he the right fit for a win-or-go-home game like this?
Honestly, any of our guys would be the right fit, But TJ's been great for us all year. Honestly, take away one of his innings early in the season, he would have been an all-star. He was a guy that they talked about in the meetings and stuff. So, he's been one of those guys from the get-go that have been consistent for us. But like I said, we got all hands on deck tonight. So, use everybody. But if we have to, we will.
Awesome. Thanks so much for the time, Coach. Appreciate it, and best of luck tonight.
Thank you.
Back to you guys in the booth.
Thanks so much, Andrew, and appreciate Commodores manager Jared Saltzlamakia taking some time pregame, and there he is speaking to his Falmouth team during his first year at the helm. A special message to those 9 starters in the lineup today for Falmouth. We'll get you that lineup. We'll do some pregame festivities and much, much more. With the first pitch about 15 minutes away. We can't wait for this one between Cotuit and Falmouth. A winner-take-all. Commodores look to get back to the playoffs after missing it last year. We'll be right back on Cape League TV.
Hi, my name is Matt Burgess, General Manager here at Falmouth Country Club. We have a unique 27-hole public golf course with a beautiful layout that is family-oriented. Kids play free here at Falmouth Country Club. Getting on the course is quick and easy with our app. You can book tee times, get yardages with GPS, use our interactive scorecard, track your stats, and receive exclusive in-app offers. Falmouth Country Club is a true Cape Cod classic and a local family favorite.
See you on the course.
On behalf of the Cape Cod Baseball League, we would like to thank the following league partners for their continued support: Kinlan Grover Compass, Massachusetts State Lottery, Milton Cat, OT Sports, Quincy College, Reader's Hardware Supply, Southern Recognition, T-Mobile, Velo Sports, and of course, thank you to Major League Baseball for over 50 years of support.
I'm Antonio Morales from Norfolk, Massachusetts, and I'd love to get a shout out to my mom, my dad, my sister, and all my supporters.
Welcome back to Gov Fuller Field, just about set for Game 40 of the 40-game Cape Cod Baseball League season, in which the Falmouth Commodores come into this one 16-22-1. Falmouth will make the 2025 Cape League playoffs with a win or be eliminated from contention with a loss. Alongside Ben Haller, I'm Ryan Martin. Ben, we hope that this game would be one that it comes down to, and that's what we have here for Game 40.
Yeah, it is. And I think, again, we talked about the different directions that both of these team seasons have gone. For Falmouth, if you look at a bigger picture in the last half of the year, things have gone negatively, but the 3-1 last 4-game stretch is why they're here.
That's why we put us here, Ben, and we'll send it now to the voice of Gov Fuller Field for potentially the final time. It's a pride of Marist University, William Rosen, for pregame festivities and a special recognition for one Commodore. William?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Arnie Allen Diamond at Gov Fuller Field for tonight's Cape Cod Baseball League matchup featuring the visiting Cotuit Kettleers and your Falmouth Commodores. Tonight, we welcome the Massachusetts Department of Conservation and Recreation's Bureau of Forest Fire Control. Since 1911, they have been providing aid, assistance, and advice to the Massachusetts cities and towns to prevent, detect, and suppress wildfires throughout the Commonwealth. This has resulted in the average size burn being reduced from more than 34 acres to just 1.17 acres. Stop by their table for resources on what you could do to help prevent forest fires. Let's give them a warm welcome. And now it's time to meet tonight's starting lineups. First, for the visiting Cotuit Kettleers. The manager of Cotuit is Lauren Hibbs. Leading off, the third baseman from Oklahoma, number 12, Camden Johnson. Batting second, the shortstop from Auburn, number 33, Ryan Farber. Batting third, the center fielder from Missouri State, number 19, Caden Bogenpole. Batting fourth, the left fielder from St. Thomas, number 9, Zan von Schlegel. Batting fifth, the right fielder from Mississippi State, number 16, Nolan Stevens. Batting sixth, the catcher from Cincinnati, number 29, Jack Natilli. Batting seventh, the first baseman from UAB, number 18, Landon Beaver. Batting eighth, the second baseman from Kent State, number 6, Luke Matthews. And batting ninth, the designated hitter from Kentucky, number 20, Tager Tyson. The pitcher this evening for the Kettleers, a right-handed pitcher from FAU, number 15, Ryan Buckler. And now it's time to meet the starting lineup for your Falmouth Commodores. First off, the manager in his first season with Falmouth, World Series champion, Jared Saltalamacchia. Leading off, the first baseman from the University of Arkansas, number 3, Micah New. Batting second, the third baseman from Cal Berkeley, number 8, Carl Schmidt. Batting third, the designated hitter from Georgia Tech, number 10, Kent Schmidt. Batting fourth, the center fielder from Bryant, number 9, Gavin Greger. Batting fifth, the shortstop from the University of Southern California, number 18, Adrian Lopez. Batting sixth, the second baseman from the University of Alabama, number 7, Justin Osterhaus. Batting seventh, the catcher from the Ohio State University, number 25, Mason Eckelman. Batting eighth, the right fielder from the University of Maryland, number 2, Antonio Morales. And batting ninth, the left fielder from the University of Oklahoma, number 24, Caden Brumbaugh. The pitcher this evening for your Falmouth Commodores, a right-handed pitcher from Miami, number 23, T.J. Coates. Ladies and gentlemen, the Pat Sorrenti Most Valuable Player Award is given to the player who has put on the best overall performance during the Cape League season. This award takes into consideration multiple statistical categories and is voted on by field manager and commissioner. Let's give a big round of applause for this year's Cape Cod Baseball League Most Valuable Player from your Falmouth Commodores and the University of Arkansas, your very own Micah New. Presented by Cape League Commissioner John Castleberry and Deputy Commissioner Chris Fitzgerald. Let's hear it one more time for MVP Micah New. I will intro national anthem.
Well, there you have it. Micah New is your 2025 Cape Cod Baseball League MVP. He wins the Pat Sorrenti MVP Award. Second Commodore to win it in the last 3 years, and 7th Commodore to win it in team history. New's now alongside the third member of our crew, Andrew Della Piana, after just being honored there. Andrew?
Yeah, that's right, Ryan. I'm here with the MVP of the league in Micah New. A phenomenal season for you. You said before the season started that you wanted to keep your mindset simple. How have you elevated your game, though, here in the summer of 2025?
Just sticking with it. Staying simple, not doing too much. Just hit the ball. Just try to do that. Good things happen, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
Biggest thing you have taken away from this coaching staff to get you this award?
Have fun. It's a kid's game. Keep it as a kid's game, but know when you got to lock in and execute when you have to.
I know you're not a big individual.
All of us together, same thing. Just do your job, execute, quality ABs, and should come out on top.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mike, and best of luck tonight.
Appreciate it.
Brian, back to you guys.
Thanks so much, Andrew. Appreciate it. Mike and New taking some time pregame here, but for Kettleers versus Commodores. Again, New, the 2025 Pat Sorrenti Cape League MVP, keeping the game simple, and Falmouth look to do the same here in game 40 out of 40 to send themselves to the playoffs. We'll send it back over to the voice of Gov Fuller Field in William Rosen.
Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that if you're able to please rise and remove your hats as we honor America and those who protect our freedom with the playing of our national anthem. Tonight, our national anthem will be performed by French horn players who are students of Carey Phi Tech. Mrs. Vitek is the owner of Vitek Music Teaching and offers private lessons in Mashpee and is the music director for St. Elizabeth Seton Church in North Falmouth. She feels it is her mission to increase the dwindling population of French horn players and bring awareness to this unique instrument. Today, she is joined by Declan Lucy, Lucas O'Brien, Meadow Vitek, Carolyn May, Roland Vitek, and Maxwell Mello. Whenever you're ready, let's see. Let's hear it one more time for the French horn players. And now it's time for this evening's ceremonial first pitch. Throwing out tonight's ceremonial first pitch from the Department of Conservation and Recreation's Bureau of Forest Fire Control is none other than Smokey the Bear. Since 1944, Smokey the Bear has taught millions of Americans about their role in preventing wildfires. Smokey, let's see what you got. Smokey the Bear to Bear Harrison, a strike. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it one more time for Smokey the Bear and the Department of Conservation and Recreation's Bureau of Forest Fire Control.
Well, how about Smokey the Bear throwing to Bear Harrison? First pitch is done. National anthem has been sang or played here in Game 40 of 40 for the Cape Cod Baseball League season as part of the Department of Conservation and Reservation Night here at Gov Fuller Field. Back alongside Ben Haller, I'm Ryan Martin. Beyond excited to be with you for this game between the Commodores and Kettleers. A win for Falmouth sends the Commodores to the playoffs for the first time since 2023, and a loss will end Falmouth's season at 40 games. Ben, this is a momentous one here, and it starts with a Cotuit lineup that's coming off a loss yesterday against Bourne. For Lauren Hibbs, the starters for the visitors will look as a little something like this. Once again, the lineup would look something like this for the Kettleers. Who are you keeping your eye on for this Ketts lineup, Ben?
I'm looking at the change in the middle of the lineup. Jack Natilli, who just got voted that co-player or position player of the year for the Cotuit team, moved down in the lineup to batting 6 today. I find that interesting. He's been cold as of late. Really a good nod for Zan von Schleichel going up to the cleanup spot. The top three of the lineup's been so consistent: Johnson, Farber, and Bogenpool.
Natilli leads the league and runs batted in. You mentioned Johnson and Farber. They lead the Cape Cod Baseball League with 41 hits apiece. So some good offensive pieces for the Kettleers, and they'll need it going up the Cape League leader in strikeouts, 37 punchouts and counting on the year for TJ Coates. We saw Miami Hurricane left-hander yesterday in Jake Dorn. Now the incoming Cane in TJ Coates makes his 8th appearance on the summer.
Yeah, I love this pitching matchup so much because of just the difference in Coates, the strikeout guy, and you see what he has done this year. Had a couple of those too. The first time they played Cotuit, was very good in that matchup. Again, both guys are guys who faced each other, but 4 2/3 in his start back at Cotuit. Gave up an earned run.
You saw right there, it goes 4 2/3 innings. Does give up that home run to Farber. Walked a pair and struck out 4. And he gets the ball on the Commodores' biggest game of the season. We send Falmouth to the playoffs. Take a look at our Sunday night temperatures. It's a beautiful night on Main Street, 76 degrees with that wind blowing just a little bit from right field.
Yeah, it's blowing out a little bit, but I don't expect it to be much of a factor. It's a decently humid day, too, so the ball might fly a little bit. Wouldn't be surprised to see this team poke a couple out. Either team, really.
Camden Johnson, the Oklahoma third baseman, will step into left side, the first batter to face TJ Coates. Mike Henhausen calling balls and strikes. First pitch from Coates is fouled down, play down left side. First pitch at 6 p.m. exactly. Commodores and the marketing team have been great about being right on time, even with some added pregame festivities. This one gets off as scheduled.
Obviously, the fun festivities today added were the Micah New MVP. That was something that Micah New first found out yesterday, just before that game against Wareham.
There was a lot of commotion by the Commodores dugout. Manager Jared Saltamakia calls around the whole team to celebrate that moment for Micah New, the Commodores' second MVP in the last 3 years. The ball's 2 strikes to Camden Johnson. Held off again down the left side for the rising junior, going to Oklahoma, transferring from Wichita State. See a couple pitches in the mix so far for TJ Coates. Again, making his team-leading 5th start. He's got a fastball, slider, changeup, and curveball. He uses a fastball about 60% of the time. 0-2. Uses the curveball. It goes just foul down first base line.
Yeah, TJ Coates, it's really interesting to see what he's doing in someone that was here opening day and still here on game 40. He had a couple of, about a week or so, I would say, where he stepped away from Falmouth to go on some visits. Obviously, as being someone that's in the portal, he went down to Coral Gables right when he committed to Miami. But for the most part, he's been at Falmouth this whole time. You don't see many pitchers like that. He started the 3rd game of the year for the Commodores. It was a home one against Harwich.
Out to Johnson. Is lined to right field for a base hit just outside the outstretched arm of the second baseman Osterhaus. A leadoff single, and the first batter of this game for Camden Johnson. He extends his Cape League lead and hits. That's number 42.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really hard to see at the top of the lineup why they're there, but you look at the defense and a little bit of a change. I think the first thing that'll catch Commodores fans' eyes, Micah New, not in his center field position. Yep. He is playing first for the Doors today.
It's his first time at first base since he was at New Orleans a few collegiate seasons ago. He was the DH for a few games, and you just saw there Ken Schmidt, the Commodores' everyday first baseman. They'll switch. They'll DH today. Ryan Farber takes him from left side. Leadoff man Camden Johnson over at first base.
But I mean, we talk about the top of the lineup and Johnson and Farber. When you have those two guys, it sets up so many opportunities for guys like Bogut Pole or someone who's been in the cleanup spot a lot in Tilly.
About a first scoop there for Micah New on the throw over from TJ Coates.
You see him laugh a little bit too over there at first.
And when is Micah New not laughing and smiling?
That's true.
Again, the Cape League Pat Sorrenti MVP as of about 10 minutes ago when he was honored pregame with the award handed out by Commissioner John Castleberry. 1-0 to the Auburn Tiger. Here it is. Fastball taken low and away. 2 balls, no strikes to Farber, making his 40th appearance out of a possible 40.
Yeah.
Only player in the Cape League this season who could say that. There's usually about one every year in the Cape League who will play in every game in the regular season.
Availability is the best ability, and that's what Farber's done all year.
Brings in a 283 average with the league leading 145 at-bats. You'll expect that if you play in every game. Mentioned he's now second in hits on Cape Cod behind his teammate Camden Johnson, who broke that with a single as the leadoff batter here. That idea that availability is the best ability, we already mentioned. TJ Coates also brings that for Falmouth. Mentioned the rising junior going to Miami after a year in the Big Ten at Nebraska. So this is a get me over fastball down the middle for a 3-1 count.
Yeah, we talked about it on the pregame show. I mean, they're just so lucky the way the rotation played out with having Dorn and Coates in the last 2 games of the year. Jake Dorn was phenomenal yesterday, going 5 one-run baseball.
That one run just a solo homer. Camden Johnson takes off on the called strike. The throw down from Mason Eklund goes way over. But Justin Osterhaus keeps it in the infield. It's a 17th stolen base of the season for Camden Johnson. That leads all Kettleers. Now the Oklahoma Sooner in scoring position for Farber.
Yeah, I think what I see when I look at the lineup today for Falmouth, at least, and Jared Saltalamacchia is just guys who can get on base. Guys who get on base, and then they like to play a little small ball. That was Saltalamacchia's plan at the very beginning of the season. I see the same thing with Cotuit and guys like Johnson and Farber.
Pay off to Farber. His fastball grounded over to New. He stops the first ball. It gets his way. Throws up the smile and the hand to TJ Coates. There's 1 out in the first half inning. Camden Johnson does move to third base on the play. Caden Bogenpole.
Well, New did play a little bit of first base in his freshman season at New Orleans before getting over to Marshall. He's actually played more first base in his NCAA career than center field.
Yep.
So it's weird to see for Commodores fans, but it's not that crazy of a change when you look at New's defensive ability. I mean, he is the true utility. Can really play any position. He played shortstop at Marshall last year.
7th Cape League MVP to come from Falmouth. He's the 60th player to ever receive that award. It's been given out since 1964 annually. Here's Caden Bogenpole. Righty on lefty here to the rising junior from Missouri State. And we were talking with New during batting practice today. He was so excited. I think that might be an understatement to play first base.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that if he's just sitting in the dugout, gets fidgety, wants to talk to everyone and just be active. So as a DH for the last couple games, he spent maybe too much time in the dugout for his liking.
He even spent time out of the dugout, sitting with the bat and ball boys yesterday.
We were at Wareham yesterday. I think he wanted to get on the broadcast every half. He was begging Andrew Delapiano and I for our headsets. We were like, Mikey, you got to DH the next half inning. 2-1 from Coates. Fastball taken inside. The hitters count now to Bogenpole at 3 balls, 1 strike. Bogenpole from Jackson, Missouri, where he started this summer playing there for the Cape Catfish. So it goes from the Cape in Missouri to Cape Cod. 3-1 is grounded to Osterhaus. A diving stop. Throws over to first base with New. And it's in time for the second out on the play. Camden Johnson does score, but how about Justin Osterhaus, the Alabama second baseman, dives all the way to his right to provide the second out.
Yeah, it's a nice play. It provides a clean slate for TJ Coates, but Cotuit getting on the board first. That's exactly what they want to do. Falmouth hasn't been outstanding in coming back in games this year, not a ton of comebacks. But you do go back to the last time we were here at home. It was against the Anglers back on Thursday. We're down 3-0 heading into the 8th inning. They scored 4 unanswered at the bottom of the 8th to win it.
So Cotuit scores the first run of this game on a sacrifice ground out by Caden Bogenpole. His 20th run batted in of the summer. Now 2 outs in the first half inning. 1-0 Kettleers as Zan Van Schlegel will pump this one down left side, just foul. Von Schlegel, the rising junior at St. Thomas, the 4th batter to face TJ Coates today. His 11th appearance on Cape Cod, swinging a .412 average so far in the smaller sample size.
Yeah, he's the one that I kind of said hasn't spent a lot of time, if any, in the cleanup spot. So a big ask of him, and obviously the biggest game of the season for Cotuit this year.
Started this summer with the Northwoods League, where he batted .341. Ground this one right up the middle over the shortstop Adrian Lopez. His teammate, maybe Justin Osterhaus, gets in the way a little bit. They'll call it a single. 2 outs, and Von Schlegel gets on. Second hit of the day for Cotuit.
Yeah, a couple of seeing eye ground ball base hits for Cotuit to start this game off. It looked like they even maybe had a third in Bogenpole, but they're just keeping the ball on the ground. We talked about TJ Coates and the difference between him and Ryan Buckler. Coates, the strikeout guy. It's more a Buckler's game, keeping the ball on the ground. It's a lot of ground outs and pop-ups, but they're making contact on Coates, which not a lot of teams have done at this kind of level this year.
Next batter to face him is Nolan Stevens. Takes a first pitch ball. Stevens, the rising junior, going to Oklahoma after starting his career at Mississippi State. The lefty's been all over, originally from California. Schlegel stays at first base. Big swing and a miss from Stevens.
And I know we say this is a pretty important thing in every game, but especially for this one, you'd really want, if you're a Falmouth fan, and for Buckler on the other end, to keep those pitch counts down. The length of the starter is more important than any. Right. Because of both of these teams, bullpens have had their pitfalls this year. Not only having the struggles, but also a lot of the better relievers no longer with each team.
Right. Commodores bringing a 4.94 team ERA into this game. That's the worst on Cape Cod. 1-1 to Stevens. Change up. Catches the outer third for a called strike 2. We mentioned earlier, TJ Coates has already faced this Cotuit team. 4 2/3 innings, allowing 2 earned runs, struck out 4. A couple of games ago, did pick up the loss. Came on July 3rd too.
Yeah, that was that game where there was the walk-off ground, another seeing eye ground ball base hit for Cotuit. And the bottom of the 8th, the game that was called due to darkness, and they knew the 8th would be the last inning.
He's got a 2-ball, 2-strike count, 2 outs in the top of the first inning against Nolan Stevens. His pitch, fastball, lined right over the second base bag for a base hit. Von Schlegel gets to second base, he'll stop there. As Gavin Greger throws it back into the infield, back-to-back 2-out singles for Cotuit.
Yeah, you can already tell, in a must-win game, Cotuit's coming into this game with a very good approach. It is very good at-bats, very long at-bats. This top of the first inning has already taken a toll on TJ Coates. He's about to face his 6th batter of the first inning. He's thrown 25 pitches. That's a recipe for disaster for Falmouth if he can't get out of it soon.
This might be the worst batter to have at the plate now.
Yeah.
It's Jackson Tilly, rising junior at Cincinnati, the Cape League leader with 24 runs batted in. Now 37 of a possible 40 games on Cape Cod. It's been the MO as well for first-year Kettleer manager Lauren Hibbs. Guys he likes, he puts into games often. 2-1, 2-out for Tilly. Just outside of the breaking ball for Coates. 2 balls, no strikes. As Coates looks to get out of it unscathed. Last appearance for TJ came 9 days ago in a 5-2 loss to Brewster. But it certainly wasn't Coates' fault that Falmouth fell there. Coates goes 4 innings of scoreless baseball, allowing just 2 hits. Struck out 7 in that appearance as well.
Yeah, that's why you really feel like Coates is coming into this game with really throwing his best stuff. It feels like ever since he's committed to Miami, he's been able to settle down and kind of focus his mind just on here on the Cape, and he's been great in his last few starts.
An 8th appearance, 5th start for Coates. Utilized in a few different ways by Saltamaki and pitching coach Todd Carroll. 2-1 is grounded by Tilly. Over to the second baseman. Osterhaus will go off of his glove, throw over to third base on the back pick, but it's going to be safe over at third for Von Schlegel. It'll go as a 3rd consecutive single by Cotuit. Bases are juiced now for the new Kettleer, Landon Beaver.
I mean, this is frustration at its finest for TJ Coates. To credit Cotuit for putting the ball in play, but there's only been one hard hit base hit in this whole inning, and that is hit number 4 for the Kettleers.
As we just mentioned, in that great appearance last time out, Coates gave up just 2 hits across his 4 innings of scoreless baseball. Now gives up 4 hits in his first 2/3 of an inning pitched. There you see the battery pairing. TJ Coates, a guy who's been with Falmouth since day 1, versus Mason Eckelman, a new Commodore, catcher from Ohio State. Just got to Falmouth a few weeks ago. Still working on that chemistry. It's part of summer baseball, though. And it's a big honor for Eckelman, too, to get the call as Saltamakia's backstop.
Yeah.
It's ever important game 40. Here's Landon Beaver. Bases loaded. Big game between Cotuit and Falmouth. First pitch to the UAB Dragon. Is a called strike atop the zone.
Yeah, early on, this is one of the biggest at-bats you're going to see. Bases loaded with 2 outs. And again, it's not just the runs, but also you have a chance to chase TJ Coates possibly in the first. Because it's just been death by 1,000 paper cuts. Talk about the 3 of the 4 base hits were slow or medium speed grounders.
Beaver has Von Schlegel at third base, Stevens at second, and Natili at first. Just his third game on Cape Cod. 0-2, just inside. Coates has to shake his head, thinking that should have been a called strike 3. The small sample size for Beaver. He's 1 for his first 5 on Cape Cod. He's signed to the Kettleers on the last day of July. Does have 3 runs batted in, though. Looks to improve on that with the bases loaded. Cotuit and Falmouth looking to go to the Cape League playoffs. 1-2. Runs inside, stopped by Eckelman, though, to even the count.
And also, no matter what happens at this at-bat, Falmouth's offense got to take notes. And if you work those long at-bats and just wait for a pitch you like, you have a chance to make Buckler throw a lot of pitches.
2 again from Coates. It's a called strike 3. TJ gets out of it with the bases loaded. And the Cape League leader in strikeouts has number 38 on the season. Leaves Cotuit with just 1 run in the top half of the inning. We'll see the Falmouth bats for the first time when we bring it right back here on Cape League TV.
Hi, my name is Matt Burgess, General Manager here at Falmouth Country Club. We have a unique 27-hole public golf course with a beautiful layout that is family-oriented. Kids play free here at Falmouth Country Club. Getting on the course is quick and easy with our app. You can book tee times, get yardages with GPS, use our interactive scorecard, track your stats, and receive exclusive in-app offers. Falmouth Country Club is...
On behalf of the Cape Cod Baseball League, we would like to thank the following league partners for their continued support: Kinlan Grover Compass, Massachusetts State Lottery, Milton Cat, OT Sports, Quincy College, Reader's Hardware Supply, Southern Recognition, T-Mobile, Velo Sports, and of course, thank you to Major League Baseball for over 50 years of support.
I'm Antonio Morales from Norfolk, Massachusetts, and I'd love to get a shout out to my mom, my dad, my sister, and all my supporters.
Bottom of the first inning here from Gov Fuller Field, just off of Main Street in Falmouth, Massachusetts. Falmouth Commodores and Cotuit Kettleers squaring off in Game 40 of the Cape League season. Well, first time we'll see the Falmouth bats, and it looks a little something like this for Jared Saltzlamakia.
Yeah, again, we had some surprises, obviously, with position, and there's a couple of reasons for that. Gavin Greger and Caden Brumbaugh, 2 guys who really wanted to get into this lineup. Other thing, no Bear Harrison. He caught 2 games in a row, so it's kind of, you have the advantage in the pitching matchup, how that worked out. Sometimes the catcher rotation doesn't work out that same way, though.
It still looks weird saying the first base next to Mike Anu's name, the leadoff spot. The Cape League MVP will be the first batter to face a pitcher that the Commodores are familiar with, right-hander out of FAU, Ryan Buckler, making his second start against the Commodores.
Yeah, and that first start, Buckler, it really did what Buckler did all season, and just at least giving Cotuit length. He only gave up a couple of earned runs in the 5 innings of work. It hasn't been a ton of scoreless appearances for him. But again, it's not the strikeout numbers for him. Only 14 strikeouts in a total of 24 in the 3rd innings. But he was only walked a couple of batters. He gives up soft contact, ground ball.
That's what New does.
And a pop-up in there seemingly every inning.
How about 14 strikeouts, just 2 walks for the FAU righty? And Cape Cod native, he's from Barnstable, Massachusetts. He was a starting pitcher last time these 2 teams met.
Yeah, the 2 walks is obviously the most impressive about that, because 14 strikeouts, that's still not a high number by any means in 24 and a third.
Does have a sub-3 ERA. That's top 15 lowest amongst qualified pitchers on Cape Cod. This is the Cape League MVP, honored today pregame by Cape League Commissioner John Castleberry. Arkansas Razorback Mike Anu's been great so far this summer. He's got a Cape League leading 8 homers, and he's moved into that leadoff spot for Jared Saltzlamakia over the last week or so. 1-1 to do is grounded to the third baseman Johnson. Fields and fires across the diamond over to Beaver for out number 1. Buckler retires the Cape League MVP in the first time he sees Mike Anu. He's got this defense behind him for this big game for the Kettleers.
Yeah, been consistent for Cotuit the last few games. That starting lineup hasn't changed much. Landon Beaver really making a name for himself over at first the last week or so, not even being here for a week. But the left side of the infield, we talked about their offense, but Ryan Farber at short and Caden Johnson at third base are as steady as it gets.
You're not going to find a more consistent pairing on that left side. Farber making his 40th appearance of a possible 40 games. Third baseman Camden Johnson not far behind him. This is his 39th appearance. Carl Schmidt takes ball 2 upstairs.
I do really like what Schultz-Lamacchia has done with the top 3 of the lineup. You go New, Schmidt to Kemp Schmidt, and those are the 3 guys. You go down that list, the top 3 in OPS of qualified hitters. So it's just that new school baseball approach of just let your best hitters get as many at-bats as you can.
For 3 West Division Cape League All-Stars as well with Mike Anu, Carl Schmidt, and Ken Schmidt. You got a break with the cleanup hitter Gavin Greger, who's playing in just his 4th game on Cape Cod. Then another Cape League All-Star in Adrian Lopez. Commodores with a league-high 9 All-Stars so far this summer. Getting the over pitch for a called strike 1 on Carl Schmidt.
It still is hard to believe. I hate to beat a dead horse, but just the 2 walks for Buckler. I mean, you don't see him get down in counts much, but when he does, just like this, he's able to work his way back.
Climbs back to a full count with 1 out in the home half of the 1st inning. Commodores chasing by 1. Here's the California Golden Bear Carl Schmidt. Turns 21 a week from today. Full count. It is low and away.
There's number
Ball
3.
4. Yep.
It's the 3rd on the season for him. And again, those are the at-bats I like to see from Carl Schmidt and from anybody. I think Falmouth's best plan here is to make this as much of a bullpen game as possible. Commodores have a somewhat fresh Jacob Schultz, who they could at least extend a little more than they have recently. Joe Sabbath has a chance to go again after throwing just 1 inning yesterday.
And that's just the third walk that Buckler throws in close to 25 innings pitched on Cape Cod. The FAU Owl has been great. Ken Schmidt takes ball 1 low and away. No relation from Ken Schmidt in the batter's box, and Carl Schmidt over at first base. But the West Division All-Star starting first baseman in Schmidt works into his 35th game played with a .282 average. And you mentioned Schultz and Sabbath, who we could see in this win-or-go-home game 40 for the Commodores. It was part of the conversation with Schultz-Lamacchia yesterday. This one grounded over to the second baseman Matthews to second for 1 over to first in time for an inning-ending double play. Goes 4-6-3, and Kettleers get out of it. Ryan Buckler faces the minimum for a Cotuit team up 1-0, looks to add on it. We come back on Cape League TV.
Hi, I'm Jim Murray, owner of Falmouth's historic clam shack, now Jim's Clam Shack. Located on scenic Falmouth Harbor, Jim's Clam Shack is a destination for the best seafood and sunsets on the Cape. We're open 7 days a week, so stop by for lunch or join us for dinner on the rooftop deck. Bring the entire family to try our wide selection of seafood and kid-friendly option. We deliver the freshest products to your plates daily. Jim's Clam Shack, a proud supporter of the Falmouth Commodores.
On behalf of the Cape Cod Baseball League, we would like to thank the following league partners for their continued support: Veolia North America, Wilson Sporting Goods, Yawkey Foundation, Netting Pros, Falmouth Publishing Company, Butler Sporting Goods, Sports Fix, Margaritaville Resort Cape Cod, Sunderland Printing, Del Mar Vacation Rentals, and of course, thank you to Major League Baseball for over 50 years of support.
Hi, I'm TJ Coates. I'm a right-handed pitcher from the University of Nebraska, and I'd love to give a special shout-out to my brother. Love you, big man.
There's TJ Coates giving a shout-out to his brother, the Miami Hurricane right-hander, working into his 2nd inning on the job. You see the scoreboard at Gov Fuller Field. Reigns 1-0 in favor of the Cotuit Kettleers. Here's a reminder how we get to this win-or-go-home Game 40 for Falmouth. Ben, it's been a roller coaster. We didn't even think we could possibly get to this point for Falmouth, but the Commodores control their own destiny again.
I remember the vibes were obviously the lowest after that loss on Friday at Bourne, I think, because it's either that or the YD loss. At least after the YD loss, there were back-to-back wins, but it was just like you couldn't capitalize on the hot play and also just how badly they got beat by the Braves.
First pitch is grounded by Matthews over the shortstop, Adrian Lopez. Gets it in time to first base for the first out.
And I'll tell you what, man, I, again, hate to beat a dead horse. TJ Coates, just thanking the lucky stars. Adrian Lopez made a nice play at shortstop, had the patience, because it is at-bat after at-bat, these slow grounders for the Cats.
Scoop on the play there from the shortstop Lopez. You see that blue glove on his left hand. If it looks familiar, that's because it actually belongs to Jared Saltzlamakia, first-year Commodores manager. He gave Adrian his glove yesterday. It's a custom blue USA Rawlings mitt. So far, Lopez has been good with it. Grounder off the glove of Coates and off the glove of Osterhaus as well. It's going to be the 9-hitter and Taggart Tyson who reaches first base. 1-out single for the Kentucky Wildcat.
It's another unfortunate ball in the infield. I mean, this one's harder hit at least, but one that was going up to the middle and just hit off T.J. Coates' glove. And just no shots. Maybe he had the end there, but this ball has left the ball has left the infield twice for Cotuit so far. 3 infield base hits.
Might have hit on the inside of the bat too for Tyson. And just a weird bounce over to the pitcher and Coates. 1 on, 1 out for the leadoff man Camden Johnson. He's the first batter in this game. He's singled and scored the lone run in the top of the first. Check swing doesn't matter, says home plate umpire Mike Hinojosa. It's a called strike on the outer third. Again, Hinojosa calling balls and strikes. At first base is Kager Andriozzi today. And at third base is umpire Ryan Damari. One's taken for a called strike middle by the Oklahoma Sooner, Camden Johnson. Not much speed at first base with Taggart Tyson. There's no stolen bases, but it's been caught stealing once in 13 games. This one grounded over to Coates, gets it on second hop, throws it to Lopez at second for 1, to first, and it pulls Mike Anu off the bag, but Anu keeps it in front of him.
Yeah, that's a play where, you know, T.J. Coates, the double play is not made because T.J. Coates didn't make the, or because T.J. Coates had to take too much time to get it to second, but it has to be. I think if you're a Falmouth fan, you're not upset with T.J. Coates taking his time and just making sure they get the out at second base in the fielder's choice.
I was going to say, Coates hesitated for a moment, maybe waiting for the shortstop Lopez to get to the base. At least Coates gets the lead runner and puts Johnson over at first base. Now for Ryan Farber. 2 outs in the top of the second. Falmouth Commodores chasing Cotuit Kettleers by 1 early into this game. It's a meaningful game for each team. Cotuit and Falmouth at the bottom of the West Division right now as the season would end. At the moment, Falmouth would miss the playoffs, but a win and you're in scenario with the Commodores just 1 point back. T.J. Coates is 1-0. His fastball grounded down the first baseline, foul. And we mentioned the impressive season for Ryan Farber this year, getting ready for his first spring at Auburn. After spending a couple of seasons at Texas State, he's one of 2 West Division All-Stars in the lineup today for Lauren Hibbs. Coates is 1-1. Runner goes, ball outside, Ekelund throws down, and it's just late ahead of it. Camden Johnson over to second base. His second stolen base in as many innings. He gets 18 on the year.
Yeah, he's got so much speed. He's, again, the ideal guy in the leadoff spot. Anytime you get that kind of speed and 18 stolen bases in the year while also leading the league in base hits, it would be a crime to put him anywhere else in the lineup.
Scoring position for Ryan Farber. 2-1. Fastball grounded directly to Justin Osterhaus. He waits on it and fires over to third base to end the top of the second inning. Bit of action on the pass with Camden Johnson. He gets into scoring position, but left at second base. Still 1-0 Cotuit. We'll talk to you in the home half of the second.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
There hasn't been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed or products for players to be able to train bat speed. you can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. That's a no-brainer for every player.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
What's up? I'm Kent Schmidt, first base from Georgia Tech, and you're watching Cape League TV.
Home half of the second inning here off of Main Street in Falmouth, Massachusetts for this win or go home game 40 of 40 in the Cape League season for the Falmouth Commodores. Looking to just crack the Cape League playoffs this season. And it was Falmouth who sent up the minimum in the first inning batting, so 4, 5, and 6 will be up to face Ryan Buckler into a second inning of work. It starts with the new Commodore, Gavin Gregor.
Yeah, last time Gregor had an at-bat here, it was probably the biggest at-bat of the season for any Commodore. An RBI single that put Falmouth on top of Chatham 4-3 at the bottom of the 8th.
Now into his 4th game. It's one of just 2 hits on the season early on for Gregor, his only run batted in. The first pitch, he'll sky one into left field. Zan Von Schagel moves a few steps to his left for the first out.
Yeah, that's what you're going to see a lot from Buckler. That one. There's another fastball that he's able to get players to elevate just a bit too high. And I'm not sure if that pitch was exactly a strike, but it almost looks like eye candy to hitters to see it that high. But especially on the first pitch of an at-bat, he's really good at getting hitters to be over-aggressive.
It's worked so far. Again, that ERA sub-3 through 25 innings pitched this summer for Ryan Buckler. Here's Adrian Lopez. Watches a first pitch ball from the FAU out.
Yeah, look, this is a game for Lopez where I know what the numbers are this season for him, and he's had his struggles. But if you look at what he's done at USC, it's just the brighter the lights get, the better he plays. And nonetheless, he's one of the more talented players on this Falmouth team. He's a guy that I am happy, if you're a Falmouth fan, to have in the middle of the lineup despite just the 196 batting average. Already made a nice defensive play at shortstop.
31st game on the summer for Lopez. Just tips off strike 2. 332 average for Lopez at USC this past spring. It's a 196 line here with the Commodores through those 31 games played. You mentioned the clutch hitting. Lopez had the 2-run double in the bottom of the 9th to walk off Washington for USC.
That's a win in the Big Ten tournament.
The final game of the Big Ten tournament, yep.
And a win that really might have solidified and even been the difference in an at-large bid. So actually a really similar situation.
Yep.
If they lose that game to Washington, they're eliminated from the Big Ten tournament. They were named the last 4 into the NCAA tournament. I'm not sure if they make the tournament if it weren't for that walk-off double.
Lopez was the everyday first baseman for the Trojans this past spring. Now almost exclusively the shortstop for Jared Saltamakia this summer. He's had his struggles learning that new position.
Yeah, that's really one of the funny things too. Is it's not entirely new to him naturally, but at the college level, definitely a little bit. It seems like all the best players who go from high school to college in college were shortstops.
2-2. Lopez grounds to second base where Luke Matthews is awaiting the grounder. Goes to first for the second out.
I should say in high school were shortstops. That's just kind of how it goes. Lopez has that sort of talent.
The second baseman from University of Alabama, number 7, Justin Osterhouse.
So Ryan Buckler, in his second time facing this Falmouth Commodores lineup, is not allowed to hit through the first 5 batters faced. He walked the 2-hole hitter Carl Schmidt, just his 3rd walk allowed of the summer through 25 innings and change pitched. Then induced up double play. And that one will be a liner for Justin Osterhouse. Just as we mentioned that Buckler is without allowing a hit yet, it's a 2-out single for Justin Osterhouse.
Yeah, and already 6 guys to the lineup for Falmouth. Still no strikeouts. Another really good approach from Osterhouse. Punched it, pulling it, I should say, to left field. It's probably the hardest base hit of the game. Either that one or you go back to the Nolan Stevens single up the middle.
It's a Commodores lineup with 348 strikeouts this season. That's 4th most on Cape Cod. First pitching staff with Cotuit that struck out 306 batters. That's the fewest by any Cape League rotation.
And offensively, too, I think the strikeouts are the biggest thing that Saltalamacchia has been frustrated with this Falmouth offense, which is why you see the lineup the way it is, putting guys like Caden Brumbaugh and Mason Eckelman in it.
Here's Eckelman. Osterhaus sneaks the run to second base. He'll stay over at first. Got Jack Natilli out of his crouch quickly. When you think back to that run rule loss at Bourne, or Natilli, and they got him. Natilli throws out Justin Osterhaus, the Commodores' leader in stolen bases. Can't swipe second, and it'll end the second inning. Still one thing good to it. We'll talk to you in the third inning here at Gov Fuller Field next.
One source has it all. The pros' go-to rental choice for the newest and most reliable equipment for any job. One source that has a team you can rely on, the people and a name you trust, with the tools you need. One source with a location near you and wherever the work takes you. Milton Rents, the right equipment when and where you need it.
Hi, I'm Mike Newton from Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, and I'd like to give a special shout out to my boy T.
It's Cape League MVP Mike Anu giving a shout out to his boy T. His Commodores in last place of the West Division now. Top of the third inning here from Gov Fuller Field. Ben, that's what it would look like if the playoffs started today and not 48 hours from now.
Yeah, it would, and this is a situation, too, where Wareham has a 3-0 lead on Hyannis, but again, it's hard to keep putting the importance of this game in different ways. It is what it is. You see it on the score bug. It's win or go home for Falmouth. And what I really like about it, too, is just how this game feels like an extra playoff game.
Yep. Seems like a game 163. The big thing for the Commodores is that yesterday, Ben, could not go any better in Falmouth's favor.
No, literally not. Hyannis even ended up blowing a lead yesterday. So what that does, that's not necessarily have a say on if Falmouth makes it or not, but the possibility that Falmouth, with the win today and a Hyannis loss, could be the 3 seed. And I don't know about you, but maybe it's some recency bias. If you're a Commodores fan, I think you'd rather play Wareham a little bit than Bourne.
It's a Gateman team that you just beat yesterday by a 5-2 score. And Wareham's now lost 4 straight games. That's the longest active losing streak on Cape Cod. 0-2 to Caden Bogenpole, runs outside. Bogenpole is 0 for 1 today. A ground out to Justin Osterhaus. Did score the lone run in this game. This is a fly out to left field, and it'll drop just ahead of the left fielder, Caden Brumbaugh. Bogenpole takes a turn around first base. The throw to second base will be cut off. A leadoff double for Caden Bogenpole. It's our first extra base hit of the day, and puts another Kettleer in scoring position for Zan von Schlegel.
Opposite field hitting is just so important for this Cotuit team. We've already seen a couple of them in this game. That was probably maybe not the hardest hit, because that was still an awkward flyer, but the reason Bogenpole's standing on second base is because Falmouth had the outfielders to pull side a little bit. Brumbaugh was playing very far to the right in left field.
First pitch to Zan von Schlegel, runs outside.
But again, it feels like I'm constantly making excuses for the hits for Falmouth. I mean, Cotuit, it's not to take any credit away. They are doing exactly what they need to do in a game like this. And again, just give themselves chances in at-bats. We've had longer at-bats. We've had a really good contact.
Already 6 hits for Cotuit, equal to 1 Kettleer run. Most recent being the leadoff double by Caden Bogenpole. That puts him on to second base. The second of those 6 hits, it was Zan von Schlegel, who got on to first with a single and was stranded at third base to end the first inning, where Cotuit left the bases loaded. TJ Coates is 2-1. His fastball grounded to Adrian Lopez, backhands it, throws to first base. Time for the first out.
That's a really big out, too, to keep that run at second base. I mean, we've seen this Cotuit team hit the ball all over the ballpark so far today, and still just one run to show for it. The damage control has been good for Coates, especially when, even before that ground out, in 11 at-bats. I mean, the BABIP for Cotuit is just crazy.
Again, you do see a noticeable comfortability with TJ Coates. You mentioned it since he made his commitment known about going to Miami about 2 weeks ago. It's his third school in as many years for the rising junior. Started at Cloud County Community College. His first pitch to Nolan Stevens is a ball outside. And the best ability is availability for Coates, the Overland Park, Kansas native. The only qualified Falmouth pitcher left. He's got the most innings by any door this season. Throws over to second base where Caden Bogenpole slides back in.
And you go back to the very beginning of the year where it looked promising for the starting rotation of Falmouth. Coates was kind of that third guy. It would go Caden Eschman, then Grayson Sagne. TJ Coates get the third start of the season with Matt Saucer behind him.
Then what happens is, so consistently, it's something that all 10 teams are dealing with, those innings run out for pitchers.
Yeah.
Whether it's end of June into early July. It's all about strategy with how managers want to communicate with college coaches and use what they're given by pitchers. There's a good curveball for a called strike.
Well, simply put, there's a positive correlation in runs scored and how many games have been played here on the Cape. The further it goes in the season, the more offense you see.
Stevens rounds it. It'll stay fair on Mike Canoe to first base. Round out to New is the second out in the top of the third inning, moving Caden Bogenpole up to third base for Jack Natilli.
Yeah, Mike Canoe hasn't made any spectacular play over at first today, but he's looked really natural in 2 2/3 of work so far.
New is responsible for the second out in the top of the third inning. For the second time in the first 3 innings, it's the right-hander TJ Coates who has a Kettleer on third base with 2 outs in the inning. Here's Jackson Tilly. Slashes the first ball he sees foul down the right side. Again, Mike Canoe's over at first base today. Honored as the Cape League MVP pregame today. If it didn't go to New, though, Natilli in the right-handed batter's box was a serious candidate for the Cotuit Kettleers. 242 average through 36 games played. Watch that one for a called strike 2. Natilli again leads the Cape League with 24 runs batted in. Could have a 25th with Bogenpole at third base. Tied for second with 6 home runs on the summer too. That's slugging at OPS. He's among the league leaders too. Coates is 0-2. Fastball spoiled away to the right side by Natilli.
Well, a lot of it, too. We had a crazy stretch. I want to say it was that the 4th week of the season, that was a week before the All-Star break, where he won Cod Ball Player of the Week, and he was just unbelievable.
Yeah, I think it was
3 of those 6 home runs came in that week.
A couple of grand slams, too, for the Cincinnati Bearcat. Coates is 0-2 again. Swing and a miss. Coates does it again. His league-leading 39th strikeout. Second of the day, second to end an inning. It's 1-0 Kettleers entering the bottom of the third here on Cape League TV.
At Cape Cod Healthcare, we're committed to excellence and compassion in everything we do, like helping people maintain their active lifestyles. Our innovative orthopedic program combines advanced techniques and leading-edge technology with highly specialized teams, including our nationally recognized Center of Excellence for Joint Replacement. Our focus is getting you back to doing the things you love, in the place you love.
The Center of Excellence and the quality of care that we can deliver makes all the difference to the patients. They understand that they can get the best care right here on Cape Cod.
You can make any bat feel lighter by adding a velo puck knob. Instead of having to go get a whole entirely new bat, you can simply add the puck to it. Players can use this with any bat. It's basically going to shift the weight of the bat a little bit more towards the hands. Players are able to hit the ball a lot harder just by simply adding the puck on.
Bottom of the third inning in this ever-important final matchup this regular season between Cotuit and Falmouth. It's a 1-0 Kettleer lead here on Cape League TV. And again, the situation, it's win or go home for the Falmouth Commodores. The third member of our crew, Andrew Delapiana, gives us a little bit of league context into when the last time it's happened for Falmouth, getting into the last game of the regular season. Andrew?
Yeah, Ryan, it's been about 10 years since a win or go home here at Gulf Fuller Field. That came back in 2015. August 2nd, you got to go back to a 6-5 Bourne victory over these Commodores, where Falmouth was in that 5th spot in the West Division. Just needed a win over the Braves to get into that 4th spot. Funny enough, it was Cotuit who actually got that 4th spot because of that loss. It was a 10th inning win for Bourne, scoring a run in the top of that frame to push him over across. And it was actually Pete Alonso who had that game-winning RBI, guys, to get the victory for the Braves and eliminate the Commodores. Falmouth hoping to be on the other side of that tonight, though, guys.
There with New York Met Pete Alonso. Maybe you remember that name?
He's maybe done something. Maybe he made it to the minor leagues or something like that.
I think I've heard he's decent in Major League Baseball. Mason Eckelman slaps the first pitch he sees into straightaway center field. Hayden Bogenpole takes a few steps backwards for the first out.
Yeah, but that is interesting. It's always a funny coincidence that Cotuit ended up making it. It's always fun to go look back at those games and see all the just the names that are in those games. It always makes you wonder who are the guys in this game that we're going to look back in 6 years and say the same thing about. I guess that was 10 years ago.
Where the stars of tomorrow shine tonight here in the Cape Cod Baseball League. And to Andrew's point, it's been a decade since that final game of the regular season has been so meaningful, where it's you win for Falmouth, you make the Cape League playoffs. If you lose, you go home. Last year, Falmouth was one of 2 teams, along with the East Division's Brewster Whitecaps, to miss the playoffs, but Falmouth missed it by a large margin, 12 points behind 4th place Bourne. Foul ball for Antonio Morales, evens account at 1 ball, 1 strike. And one of the most interesting things that we were talking about before the game is that was a Commodores team that wasn't even close to the West Division playoff picture. Falmouth unfortunately knew that it would be eliminated about a week before the season was over. But that Falmouth team finished with a 16-23-1 record. Now this year's Falmouth team, deeply in a playoff race, but with a loss today, Ben, Falmouth would have an identical record to last year.
Yeah, it's interesting because Division and ended up winning it all. It's a complete flip, a complete 180. It was the East Division last year that had those numbers, and Falmouth, to hear 16-23-1 and say no chance or eliminated a week before the season ends is pretty crazy.
That was a Harvard team that lost 16 of 17 games in July, just got hot at the right time, and it got a good year too. That was a year last year where there was just a 1-game wild card to decide who went to the division championships. This year will be 3 rounds of 3. Time in over a decade. Rumbaugh watches a called strike 1.
It is interesting, too, to have so many new guys, the 3 new guys, and Brumbaugh, Eckelman, obviously a little bit newer than Gregor. But still, all 3 of those guys just getting in this week. Which it's kind of crazy to say. Feels like Eckelman, Brumbaugh been here longer. I was back on 2. This last 6 games stretch has felt like a forever.
A couple throws over by the FAU right-hander Ryan Buckler to Antonio Morales. He's got 9 stolen bases this year. Won't go here. Change him taken inside for a ball by Brumbaugh. 9 stolen bases for the incoming Maryland Terrapin Morales, but he's been caught stealing a team-high 5 times.
Already got a caught stealing for Jack Natilli. They want a really bad jump from Justin Osterhouse at first.
1-1. Brumbaugh squares the bunt, but goes back into the home plate netting. And for Osterhouse again, who has a team.
I don't think anyone was surprised to see it. The only thing that you could have made the argument against is, well, it's a Falmouth team that has a good chance to not make the playoffs. So that's the only downfall. When the only downfall to that argument has nothing to do with his personal play. And baseball is about as team sport as it gets. Even with some of the struggles he's had since he's come back from that break, the numbers just too good to pass up.
Yeah, when you include the ground out by New, average goes down to just under 280. All outside. It was just a really struggle for New after returning from taking about a week off. Wanted to hear his name called in the Major League Baseball draft, but didn't in any of the 20 rounds. New relying on a really good June, early July, and then has found his footing into August. 1-0. Fastball cranked left field. If it's fair, it's gone. This one tails just foul. Hearing the porta potties by the Cotuit dugout, or the by the Cotuit bullpen, I should say. That one looked like it could have made Falmouth go up by a run.
Yeah, you see why he's the MVP. He hits balls hard. I mean, that one just a little bit. Again, I like the conversation we're having too. That we've kind of had earlier with Mike Anu winning it and Jack Natilli maybe being one of the first runners up, because Natilli calls such a great game behind the plate. I think we've seen that so far too. Being able to work with.
Sometimes be undersold as well for an award like the MVP. 2-1, Morales stays. Check swing by New, but doesn't go around.
And the reality of the situation is too, if you're going to be a pitcher that does not strike a ton of batters out, and you're going to be as successful as Buckler's been without striking those guys out, you have to have good defense behind you. I think that's one of the top statistics to look at, including any analytics in how good a defense is.
3-1 from New. It freezes him. Change up by Buckler.
And the sad part of it is, in the situation, Falmouth has had a couple of pitchers come and go that are like that the numbers look a little worse than they are just because of the defensive struggles for the Commodores.
Payoff from Buckler. It's a ball low and inside, gets away from Natilli. Morales thinks about going from second to third. He'll hold up there. On the second walk issued by Ryan Buckler in the last 3 batters he's faced. There's 2 on, 2 outs now for Carl Schmidt.
Now more walks in this game than his 9 appearances before coming into today. You got to think maybe the nerves getting to him a little bit. Going to be a meeting on the mound. Still just 1 hit for the Commodores, though.
Because of those 3 walks, it's 1 hit, but 4 base runners for Falmouth. That's what induces a first mound meeting from Kettleers pitching coach Tim O'Connor. So again, Antonio Morales over to second base. He was the West Division All-Star Game MVP. And right behind him, it's the Cape League MVP this season, Mike Anu. And we're talking about it a couple of times. You forget with Falmouth being in the bottom of the West Division, this is a talented Commodores roster this season.
I think that's one of those reasons, if you're a Doors fan, that if you go into the playoffs and sneak your way in with a win today, you don't have to feel like it's like, oh, we got this 1 win, and the accomplishment is you make the playoffs and you have no chance in the first round, and you're just happy you make it. It's a team that if they sneak in, I seriously believe can do some damage.
First offering to Carl Schmidt. It's a fastball low and away. That control has been an issue for tiebreaker in case the point totals would be the same. Again, you're looking at Cotuit, Hyannis, and Falmouth for those last 2 spots in the West Division playoffs. 2-2 to Schmidt. He's grounded on the left side over the shortstop, and Farber throws it after a backhand stop. Gets to first base for the 3rd out. A great play by Ryan Farber. He's been at that position all year for the Kettleers and shows why. 1-0 Kets. As we're a third of the way through. We'll talk to you in a moment on Cape League TV.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings, they are ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
Introducing Open Cape, the local nonprofit internet service provider in this region. Open Cape's fast and reliable network is 100% fiber optic, providing affordable internet connectivity. To learn more, visit opencape.org and always speak with a live Open Cape representative. Open Cape, providing choice and competition for your home or business and the official internet provider of your Falmouth Commodores.
We are Open Cape.
I'm Trevor Baumler, right-handed pitcher from TCU, and you're watching Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
The Cotuit Bats are back up after that sensational stop by the shortstop, Ryan Farber. You see him there in the Kettleers dugout. And take a look at this stop on the backhand by the new Auburn Tiger to end the bottom of the 3rd inning. Gets Carl Schmidt to ground out, throws across his body for the 3rd and final out. Does strand 2 Commodores batters. Falmouth wanted that as the Commodores are trailing 1-0 now into the 4th inning, where it's time for Doors Trivia. Here's a question today, and potentially the final time this season. When was the last time 2 Commodores won Most Valuable Players in a 3-year span? Is it A, 05-06, B, 08-09, C, 2022 to 2023, or D, 2001 to 2002? You can tweet at your answer using the hashtag Doors Trivia. Ben, for potentially the final time in 2025, your guess is?
2001 and 2002.
I guess that as well. I'll be with you on that. What was the other answer? 05-06.
5-06 and 12-13.
We need 2 different answers. I'm going to take 05-06. Okay. Me and you have settled our differences with Doors Trivia. We're both guessing here. It's a great question by our producer, Dan
This is a very civil trivia question.
Of course. And Beaver skies went to left field, gets under the glove of Caden Brumbaugh. Beaver takes a turnaround first, takes a turnaround second too, thinks about going to third, but a good throw in by the Oklahoma Sooner. Keeps Landon Beaver at second base. That's his first extra base hit of the summer in his 3rd game played. It's a leadoff double for the Kettleers.
Yeah, Brumbaugh might potentially saved himself there with a really good throw to third base. He get him to third base, and that is obviously a different situation than just a double there. But this Cotuit team in opposite field hitting, it's been so impressive today.
The second leadoff double in as many innings for the Kettleers, with Luke Matthews now up against TJ Coates.
And both of them in that same exact spot, opposite way.
Bogenpole reached second to begin the 3rd inning, was stranded there after a couple of groundouts and a second strikeout in this game for TJ Coates. He's your Cape League leader with 39 strikeouts and counting.
I want to go back to that Farber play, though, that we highlighted at the beginning of the inning. That might be, with stakes, what's that line and everything like that, that might be the best play this whole Cape season so far.
Wow.
With runners on first and second and 2 outs, not only pound for pound is it an outstanding play and probably one of the top 10 plays we've seen.
You think the context of it?
The context of it. You also add in the fact that a lot of players, they eat that ball because they don't want to throw the ball over first. They'll probably score a run with runners on first and second. And to have the arm to throw it, Carl Schmidt's not a slow guy either.
There's a reason why Ryan Farber, the now Auburn Tiger, after a couple of springs at Texas State, started the All-Star game at shortstop for the West Division. Luke Matthews squares to bunt. It gets away from the catcher in Mason Eckelman. So Landon Beaver goes from second to third base. Now a huge threat for the visiting Kettleers. Runner on third. Cotuit up 1-0. Still no one out in the top of the 4th.
Yeah, it could be some big insurance, too, because it doesn't seem like, Falmouth bats are starting to come around a little bit. And it's not the bats in particular. It's been the approach because, again, they still have the 1 base hit, but working a few walks now. It seems like their approach has been better than what we've seen all year.
Now all 4 Commodores' infielders have their toes on the infield grass, going home with anything. But this will get through on the left side for a base hit. Beaver scores easily from third, an RBI single for Luke Matthews. His 12th ribby on the campaign makes it 2-0 Kettleers.
Really good piece of hitting for Matthews. A situation where, again, any contact gets the run in, and another ground ball base hit for the Kettleers. This is a situation where, again, not to take anything away from Cotuit, 8 base hits and 3+ innings of work sounds way worse than it actually looks if you're watching this game for TJ Coates' line. And I think to show for that, still just a 2 earned and 8 hits is a good way to show it.
And again, the infield was in there, so the third baseman, Carl Schmidt, was on the infield grass, as well as the shortstop, Adrian Lopez. You wonder if maybe it was traditional depth for the left side of the infield for Falmouth. Maybe Carl Schmidt can at least make a dive at the play, Ben, to keep the ball in the infield. As you see P.J. Rogan warming up, he could be the next pitcher utilized for the Commodores. With that custom 6-finger Rawlings glove, Rogan, the secret art pioneer and ambidextrous pitcher, will tell his story more when he comes into this game. But for now, it's still T.J. Coates on the mound. 2-0 Cotuit. No one out in the top of the 4th inning, but it's 1 on. Luke Matthews for now, the 9-hitter Tagger Tyson. First pitch from Coates. His curveball breaks slow and outside for ball 1. A lot of movement in the infield for Falmouth. Middle of the infield with the shortstop Lopez and the second baseman Osterhaus go from being in to now back. Double play depth. 1-0. Runner goes, but it's Matthews who has to retreat back to first base on the foul ball by Tyson. Taggers 1 for 1 so far today. Designated hitter going from Louisville to Kentucky. ACC to SEC, singled in the second. And then was part of the fielder's choice next batter.
Talked about different rivalries on this Falmouth team, and Mason Eckelman committed to Michigan, ended up going to Ohio State. Caden Prumbaugh going from Oklahoma State to Oklahoma. That might be the craziest, going from Louisville to Kentucky and baseball, and how big of a rivalry those two schools are. It starts, and I think the arm is a big reason why. You saw it there.
Could have been a big opportunity for TJ Coates to get some momentum. If Eckelman throws out Matthews, then on the next pitch, he strikes out Tagger Tyson. Instead, it runs inside for a full count. Coates' payoff. It's a called strike 3. Tagger Tyson throws the bat. He'll have to grab it on his way back to the Kettleer dugout. A third strikeout for TJ Coates. Freezes the righty.
TJ Coates has so much movement on that breaking ball. I mean, it really just falls off the table at the last second. That's why, even after the pitch drops in the zone and you're Tyson and you watch it go by, it still takes you a minute to process that ball was anywhere near the zone. That's why he throws the bad things. It's ball 4.
Third strikeout for the Miami Hurricanes. Second looking. Off the end of the bat, Camden Johnson taps it right to the shortstop, Adrian Lopez, for the third and final looking. Off the end of the bat, Camden Johnson taps it right to the shortstop, Adrian Lopez, for the third and final out. Well, Kettleers put up one more. It's 2-0 Cotuit entering the home half of the 4th inning. Falmouth looking to score its first runs of the game. We'll see if they can next on Cape League TV.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
Cape Cod 5 is proud to be the official banking partner of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod 5 offers a broad range of financial products and services tailored for every stage in your financial journey. Reach out to us. We're here to help.
On behalf of the Cape Cod Baseball League, we would like to thank the following league partners for their continued support: Cape Space, Cape Cod 5, Cisco Brewers, Cape Cod Healthcare, Hampton Inn, Franklin Sports, Highline Cruises, Jersey Mike's, and of course, thank you to Major League Baseball for over 50 years of support.
Hi, I'm Jackson Minesco from Ocean City, New Jersey, and I want to give a quick shout out to my mom.
Home half of the 4th inning here from Gov Fuller Field off of Main Street in Falmouth, where it's time for that Doors Trivia answer. Ben, we were both wrong. The last time that 2 Commodores won Most Valuable Players in a 3-year span before it happened here tonight was B, 2007 to 2008.
Oh, I said 2007, 2008. Sometimes my pronunciation just makes 7 sound like 1s and 8 sound like 2s. It's a really interesting condition.
I wonder if those 3 geese know that Mike Canoe just won the Pat Sorrenti Cape League MVP. Those birds have been sitting in right center field, the best seat in the house for pretty much this entire game. New pitcher on the mound as well for Cotuit. It's the lefty Chase Carson that comes in replace of Ryan Buckler. Buckler's day is over. After 3 innings on the job, he allows just 1 hit and no runs for the Cats.
Yeah, he was spectacular. I think Falmouth is happy to see him go. But this is a Cotuit team that kind of similarly to Falmouth had a lot of their guys available and ready for today's game. And Chase Carson is going to be one of those guys. Best option, one of the best options out of the bullpen. A sub-5 ERA. It's 7 2/3 innings of work. Strikeout to walk numbers, not nearly the same as what we saw on the start from Buckler. 8 strikeouts, 6 walks.
Those walks something to watch too. As you said, the day's over for Buckler. 1 hit through 3 innings, doesn't give up a run, does walk 3 Commodores batters. That was his season total in his last 25 innings pitched on Cape Cod entering this appearance, and does not record a strikeout. 3, 4, and 5, the meat and potatoes of the Commodores order will be up first to face Carson. It starts with Ken Schmidt. Schmidt takes ball 1. Schmidt 0 for 1 today. Grounded into a 4-6-3 double play to end the bottom of the first inning. And that's the 3rd double play Falmouth's grounded out to in the last game and change. It was Bear Harrison who grounded out into 2 double plays last night at Wareham.
A couple of momentum killers. Didn't end up mattering too much, though.
Big 5-2 win for Falmouth to put the Commodores in this position for Game 40 of the 40-game Cape League season. And it's a win today for Falmouth, and the Commodores make the 2025 Cape League playoffs, but a loss for the Commodores, and their season is over after the minimum 40 games. Two ball, 1 strike pitch from Chase Carson. Here it is. Fastball jams Schmidt on the inside. Swing, 2nd strike.
Usually see a very good plate discipline from Kent Schmidt, but it's a couple of pitches now for him. Not sure. Should have swung.
Schmidt's been struck out just 11% of his at-bats. And we'll tap this one down the left side. Carson gets off the mound, does a 360, but there'll be no throw over to first base.
Kent Schmidt will take that, and also one of those things where, you know, baseball leaves itself out. There's a couple of maybe not that lucky base hits, but a couple of them for Cotuit in this game. And you make your own luck. I mean, it's still making contact. Kent Schmidt just threw his bat out there.
Widely regarded as the fastest player on this Falmouth team this year. Well, maybe not exactly.
Kent Schmidt?
No.
Maybe
Kent Schmidt says he's the fastest player on this team. Here's Gavin Greger. Ryan Bulldog, and making just his 4th appearance for Falmouth this season. Squares the bunt, lays a nice one down the left side. Third baseman Camden Johnson gets to it in a hurry, zings it over to first base. Let's move Kent Schmidt over to 2nd. Now 1 out in the home half of the 4th, and Falmouth chasing 2.
This is the first time we've seen Greger square around a bunt, and I liked it down the third base line. I think you saw the Camden Johnson playing back, but Johnson's one of the speedier third basemen you're going to see. Back to Schmidt, though. I was going to say maybe he's got a chance at the fastest first baseman on the team until he was playing first base today for the Doors.
Yeah, Mike Anu, 2nd on the team in stolen bases. Yeah, I think he's got him beat there.
Yeah.
1 on, 1 out for Adrian Lopez. USC Trojan 0 for 1 today with a ground out. Carson's first pitch in the lefty on righty is a curveball that doesn't break. Outside for ball 1.
But I'd love to see Ryan Zuckerman, Kent Schmidt race. Maybe even go down south, get Landon Moran in the race too.
Couple of first basemen. I think Mike Anu could run around the bases twice before any of the 3 of them get home. As mentioned, still warm-up pitches for P.J. Rogan. What a fun story that's always fun to tell when he comes to the mound. Ambidextrous pitcher, you see him pitching with the left. And he'll pitch with both, and most likely do so in the next half inning. Foul tip by Adrian Lopez for strike 2. Adrian working on that average after a poor July where he hit just 173. Struck out 23 times of his 31 on the season. Carson's 1-2. It's a fastball. He can atop the zone for ball 2. Big moment for Falmouth. Just the 2nd time today the Commodores have had a runner on 2nd base. Antonio Morales did so as well last inning and was stranded in scoring position. 2-2 is tapped at by Lopez off the glove of Carson towards the third baseman. Johnson won't throw over to third base. Leaves runners on the corners. 1 out for Justin Osterhaus now.
Now Doors gave you those infield singles too. Again, a nice piece of hitting from Adrian Lopez. That one was a little harder hit and really a tough play to make for the pitcher at Carson.
2nd single in the last 3 batters for Falmouth. That's how Ken Schmidt gets on base. He's now at 3rd. Adrian Lopez at first base. Quick mound meeting between Chase Carson, the Charlotte Rising senior, and his catcher, Jack Natilli. see where the Cotuit infield plays. It looks like the shortstop Farber will take a few steps back, and so will his middle infield partner Luke Matthews.
Looks like Greeny warming up for Cotuit. Looks like Greeny warming up for Cotuit. Could be who they go to next.
Florida State right-hander. Be next to the third one used for the Kettleers, as you said. Strike taken middle by Eckelman. That's the second strike. Second strike. This is a big moment for Mason Eckelman in just his 6th game on Cape Cod. The Ohio State catcher is 0 for 1 today, a flyout to begin the third. He's learned a lot under 12-year Major League catcher Jared Saltzlamakia. Swings through a strike 3. First strikeout from Carson. That's an important second out in the home half of the 4th.
Oh, that's a huge strikeout from Carson, too. And a beautiful pitch to get him down and away. Eckelman didn't really have a chance on it. And that's the difference between taking the lead and see what Morales can do here with 2 outs.
First strikeout by a Commodore batter today. Ryan Buckley comes into this game, walks 3 Falmouth batters, doesn't strike out any. But now Carson does it during his first inning on the job, where he has already allowed 2.
Time left.
David McCann from Fairfield, Connecticut. And I'd like to give a special shout out to my parents.
Welcome to the top of the 5th inning from Gov Fuller Field in Falmouth, Massachusetts. It's a win or
game is tied out 3 exits, but I think the numbers. I think the numbers, which aren't even bad in the first place, don't do Coates justice. I mean, there were a lot of soft contact, unfortunate things that just didn't go his way, and still able to limit it to just a couple of earned runs.
Yeah, those 8 hits were deceiving. A lot of balls tipped off of infielders' gloves. Weak contact in which the Kettler gets out of the batter's box quickly and to first base in time. Here's Ryan Farber. Auburn Tiger 0 for 2 today with a pair of groundouts. And we'll see a called strike 1. Again, we have a bit of a second to talk about P.J. Rogan again, the rising junior at Sacred Heart. Ambidextrous pitcher, who I was fortunate enough to tell his story as one of our sideline reporters for a day. It all started with his dad, Pat, throwing a tennis ball with P.J. And P.J. was just 2 years old. And Dad Pat says, wait a second, you're throwing back with your right hand about as good as you're throwing with your left hand. Started working on ambidextrous pitching, started as a left-hander, added a right-hander into Little League competition when he was just 7 years old. Then it elevates up to being one of the most unique prospects in high school baseball. Works with Rawlings and goes to their headquarters to get that custom 6-fingered glove.
Yeah, I can't remember the name, it's escaping me right now. One of the minor leagues, I think played at Ole Miss or Arkansas, one of the SEC West schools. It's kind of becoming a little bit more of a trend. He really didn't, it was kind of unheard of 10 years ago.
2-2. There's a fastball lofted into shallow left center field. Shortstop Adrian Lopez catches it on the run.
Ooh.
And it might have deflected off the glove, but picked up with the bare right hand. Whatever is needed for the first out in the top of the 5th.
Little over the shoulder action too for Lopez. That's a much harder play than he makes it look. How about the range for him too? He looks like he's playing deep left center field right now.
It's a little Willie Mays over the shoulder.
Anytime you get a strikeout like that, you'll take it.
First plate appearance for Bogenpol, not productive. He grounded out and had the first run batted in of this game in the first inning. Then had the leadoff double in the 3rd. Now strikes out for Zan Von Schlegel. Von Schlegel launches one to right center field. Morales makes a few steps over to his right and catches the 3rd and final out in the top of the 5th. A 1-2-3 inning for Cotuit, and it's Falmouth who looks to take its first lead in this game. Ben Haller will be with you with the play-by-play for the rest of this one, in which the Commodores look to win and go to the Cape League playoffs.
Hi,
I'm Jim Murray, owner of Falmouth's historic clam shack, now Jim's Clam Shack. Located on scenic Falmouth Harbor, Jim's Clam Shack is a destination for the best seafood and sunsets on the Cape. We're open 7 days a week, so stop by for lunch or join us for dinner on the rooftop deck. Bring the entire family to try our wide selection of seafood and kid-friendly option. We deliver the freshest products to your plates daily. Jim's Clam Shack, proud supporter of the Falmouth Commodores.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, President of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip one to remember. Our visitor center is located in downtown Falmouth, just off of Main Street. Come by and meet our team. The Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, your community connection.
I'm Adrian. Last year at Charlotte had a tremendous improvement from his freshman season to 4.83 ERA and a ton of appearances. He made 28, which is extremely, and a ton of appearances. He made 28, which is extremely rare in college. This one down the right field line opposite Whale, tail foul. One down the right field line opposite Whale, tail foul. Into the Falmouth bullpen. Be one of the best crowds of the season. You can tell by that deep right field bleachers right behind the Falmouth bullpen. It looks spectacular tonight.
Shades of Falmouth hosting the 2024 All-Star Game a year ago. This Falmouth community, they show up for the Commodores for sure, and especially in such a meaningful game.
Swing and a miss since 7-8.
In such a meaningful game.
Swing and a miss since 7-8-9 now. Second time on base in as many plate appearances for New to finish that point, though. He did mention a lot of guys' minds are on getting to their school. Fall ball's coming up. You know, maybe guys transferring and getting to a new school for the first time. But he said he's had a couple of messages that he really thinks this team's locked in, especially after getting a little taste with that 5-2 win at Wareham yesterday. Before the first pitch comes home to Carl Schmidt, throw over.
It's hard to blame a lot of these Cape League players, right? A lot of these guys coming from Power 5 schools, sometimes going across the country to go to their college or university. So you're away from home for 60 games, then maybe. Yeah, big moment for a big contributor. In this Commodores lineup. Kent Schmidt finds that spot in shallow left field where, Ben, it feels like both of these teams should be putting 3 or 4 players, because all 5 combined runs now have become because of opposite field contact from lefties swinging it late into left field. Kent Schmidt just does just that to score Carl Schmidt.
That's not the typical. That's not the typical Kent Schmidt double or RBI. Or RBI either. That one hung up for a while.
Schmidt's been such a pull hitter this year too.
I mean, it is really rare. That ball Johnson kind of lost it at third base. He was going back. Von Schlegel came on it late. So now Schmidt's at third base. So now Schmidt's at second base with Gregor. at the plate ahead of the first pitch to go down 0-1.
And Ben, we can feel this Gov Fuller field.
And with its online ordering system, delicious food is just one click away.
It's an honor to support the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Supreme Pizza is open every day of the week. Order online or stop by their store located at 147 T-Ticket Highway and try a slice today.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. Stevens,
I should say. And the second baseman, Justin Osterhaus, just kicks it. Had no chance on it. The first pitch at infield single for Nolan Stevens in his second base hit of this game. And Jared Saltalamacchia will make the move immediately. That's it for P.J. Rogan. Sees one batter in this sixth after a clean fifth inning. We will see Max Stifler after the break and these messages on Cape League TV.
Hi, my name is Matt Burgess, General Manager here at Falmouth Country Club. We have a unique 27-hole public golf course with a beautiful layout that is family-oriented. Kids play free here at Falmouth Country Club. Getting on the course is quick and easy with our app. You can book tee times, get yardages with GPS, use our interactive scorecard, track your stats, and receive exclusive in-app offers. Falmouth Country Club is a true Cape Cod classic and a local family favorite.
See you on the course.
He had a leadoff single for the Kettleers, his 9th hit of the day. And it's the 4th time today a Kettleer leadoff man reaches base. Stevens is 2 for 3 now, with Jack Natilli, one of the most dangerous bats on Cape Cod, slowly approaching the right-handed batter's box.
My sister has so many opinions, so it's nice to hear, like, you know, a different point of view than Darvin's.
Take a look over there at first base, where the Cape League MVP, Mike Anu, is making his first appearance at first base this season. New York Cape League leader with 8 homers was honored with the Pat Sorrenti MVP award. Became the 7th Commodore to win MVP, and second in 3 years. That ceremony was held pregame. He's the first since 2023, where Travis Bazzano. So here's Landon Beaver. Has one of 2 doubles today for Cotuit. As Carl Schmidt plays in from the third base side. Called strike 1 on the UAB first baseman. Beaver, a new addition for this Cotuit team. Just his 3rd game on Cape Cod. Now 2 for 7. Slaps his 0-1 into right field, down for a base hit. Stevens will score the game time.
But kind of given to you, but just seeing that out of the scoreboard.
Tyson taps it off the end of the bat, tailing foul. New catches it in foul territory for the second out, and maybe a jump off third base for Jack Natilli. But how about the recognition for Mike Anu, playing into his 35th game on Cape Cod, knew to flick the hips and look back at the runner in Natilli.
Yeah, he was going at it, and I was thinking in my head, am I positive if you're a Falmouth fan, you want him to catch this? Yeah. Is he too far?
Manager here at Falmouth Country Club. We have a unique 27-hole public golf course with a beautiful layout that is family-oriented. Kids play free here at Falmouth Country Club. Getting on the course is quick and easy with our app. You can book tee times, get yardages with GPS, use our interactive scorecard, track your stats, and receive exclusive in-app offers. Falmouth Country Club is a true Cape Cod classic and a local family favorite.
See you on the course.
So Taggart Tyson, the new Kentucky Wildcat, he looks to be okay. Just had a slow jog over to first base. He's a tough cookie. Correct that, Camden Johnson.
You don't have to bring Laviger in till the 7th inning. You don't have to bring Laviger in till the 7th inning.
The All-Star starting shortstop, Ryan Farber. The All-Star starting shortstop, Ryan Farber. Stifler's 2-0. Is a fastball taken down Broadway. Stifler's 2-0. Is a fastball taken down Broadway by Farber. Farber came into this game, his 39th appearance of a possible 40 on Cape Cod, tied for the league lead with 41 hits. I correct that. It's 40 of 40 for Farber. As mentioned, the 2-1 is fouled back. Had the lead in hits. He was tied with Camden Johnson, though.
Restaurants, Badger Sports, the Baldwin Group, Bluebird Dennisport, Bridgewater State University, Cape Destinations. And of course, thank you to State University, Cape Destinations. And of course, thank you to Major League Baseball for over 50 years of support.
I'm Antonio Morales from Norfolk, Massachusetts, and I'd love to get a shout out to my mom, my dad, my sister, and all my supporters. And I'd love to get a shout out to my mom, my dad, my sister, and all my supporters.
Well, the Kettleers talk, and they will bring in their third pitcher of this ball game. Only 9 defenders on the field now, not 12. Only 9 defenders on the field now, not 12.
Yes, so.
Couple of change-ups to Lopez, 1 out, 1 in, 1-1 count.
I was looking at those geese, and I was saying whether it's the Cotuit outfielders or the Falmouth outfielders, one of them is going to run into one of those geese, and then the other, that dugout, is not going to be very happy with that interference.
1-1 the opposite way, down for a base hit. It's fair. That trickles towards the Falmouth bullpen. Can Stevens pick it up before some kids do down the right field line? And he does. But Lopez gets to second base. A lead-off double, big for the Doors.
You don't have to worry.
So the scoreless 3 appearances for Green. Greeny. Obviously not a ton of appearances for him. That was after he started his baseball at JUCO level, McLennan Community College in Waco, Texas. This widely considered one of the best JUCOs for baseball. They have had a ton of success. Closer to his home in Richardson, Texas.
And we were talking, Ben, about the transfer portal being more utilized. We've been talking about that since the season opened on June 14th.
At the plate, Eckelman's only been here for a bit over a week. He's trying to come up big. Field comes in, all 4 of them for Cotuit. First pitch in.
It's released, goes to the Bourne Braves where he's hitting close to 350 with the Bravos. So now enter Mason Eckelman to be that second guy with Harrison.
You'll see a payoff go inside and away. Lopez gonna jog home. Doors have the lead again. A ball 4 wild pitch from Nick Greeny, and it's 4-3 Commodores. Eckelman will take his base. Lopez comes home.
That was a fastball that registers at 92 miles an hour for Nick Greeny. Ben, when that one got away from the catcher, Jack Natilli, I thought it was maybe too fast off the backing because of the fastball to have Lopez score from third base. I thought that was actually a slow cover by the right-handed pitcher in Greeny, too. Not as close of a play as I thought from Lopez coming from third.
Well, Natilli will go up and have a word with Greeny as we get to the 8th spot in the lineup in Antonio Morales. So still one of the base paths is Eckelman will go to first, but it's just a runner on first with the 1 out on the Osterhaus strikeout. 4-3 Commodores in the bottom of the 6th. Kettleers now down to their final 9 outs. Antonio Morales stands in. Squares around a bunt. That one's fouled back. We've seen the Commodores try that bunt a lot in first in the game. And his stats on the other end after these messages on Cape League TV. It's 4-3 Doors.
Hi, my name is Matt Burgess, General Manager here at Falmouth Country Club. We have a unique 27-hole public golf course with a beautiful layout that is family-oriented. Kids play free here at Falmouth Country Club. Getting on the course is quick and easy with our app. You can book tee times, get yardages with GPS, use our interactive scorecard, track your stats, and receive exclusive in-app offers. Falmouth Country Club is a true Cape Cod classic and a local family favorite.
See you on the course.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, President of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip.
Starling and righty enters against Caden Brumbaugh. Runners take off on the first pitch, at least fake though. They faked me out too.
He got you there.
Brumbaugh squared around a bunt. They say he kept it there 0-1.
Starling, North Florida Osprey. So he was teammates with the former Commodores pitcher this year, Caden Humphrey.
Yep.
He's making his transfer to Alabama. As a few Ospreys watch on from our Gov Fuller Field light stands.
First base comes in Beaver. Change up to Brumbaugh. Brumbaugh's 0 for 2 today with the fly at center and a strikeout. himself 5 for 21 on his first 21 at-bats for the Commodores. Hovering around that 200 batting average. 3 ribbies for him, though. Just gets his bat on that to go down 1-2.
I think there's a huge vote of confidence for a guy like Caden Brumbaugh. Wasn't in the lineup yesterday in that big 5-2 win against Wareham. But this is a do-or-die game for Falmouth. We keep mentioning win and you're in the playoffs, lose and you miss it for the second consecutive year. Now Brumbaugh, in just his 8th game.
The menu has everything from pies and calzones to salads and subs. And with its online ordering system, delicious food is just one click away.
It's an honor to support the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Supreme Pizza is open every day of the week. Order online or stop by their store, located at 147 T-Ticket Highway, and try a slice today.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, President of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip one to remember. Our visitor center is located in downtown Falmouth, just off of Main Street. Come by and meet our team, the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce.
After that scary hit by pitch to the head of Caden Brumbaugh, Jack Quigley, the newest Falmouth Commodore, will take over for him at first base. The bases are now loaded for the Doors. And the Commodores' biggest hitter, Mike Adu, at the plate in a situation to break it open. Fastball runs inside to go 1 ball, no strike.
Yeah, Brumbaugh now being attended to by Commodores athletic trainer Maddie Keff. We love Maddie, but it's never a good day when we have to mention her name twice in the same broadcast for coming out, as she already took a look at it. Kettleer that got injured. Hoping Brumbaugh's okay as we see Quigley on base for the first time.
That was the first batter, phase 2 for the newest pitcher into this ball game. It's changeup slow for Zane Starling.
And that's the biggest thing, Ben. In those moments on the newest guys, he is the newest guy for Falmouth.
Schmidt lifts one into right. Stevens initially had a look on it, goes back towards the track. It'll make the play in front of it for the 3rd out. So a bases loaded, 1-out situation with the Commodores MVP at the plate, but nothing across after the Doors take the lead earlier in the bottom of the 6th. A third of the way to go. Kettleers down to their last 9 outs.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
11th is the 11 hits, just 3 runs to show for it for Cotuit. It's been a lot of infield hits, a lot of soft contact. Caden Bogenpole will start this sitting off, but I am somewhat surprised to see Max Stifler still on the mound for Falmouth.
I am too. Before we get to Stifler, the anomaly to that soft contact, though, was the leadoff double that Bogenpole had to be in the 3rd. I love the move from the second baseman, Ostros. He just gave a heads up to his 2 outfielders, Morales in right, and I believe it's still Gregor in center field, telling them to back up for Bogenpole.
1-1 count, fastball inside, but quickly does take over now in left field for Brumbaugh.
So as you mentioned too, Stifler's 2nd inning of work. Surprised to see him here. Yeah, me too. He pitched that 1st inning, giving up a run on 3 hits, but did strand the bases loaded for the Kettleers.
2-1 fastball almost escapes Mason Eckelman. So with that double in the 3rd, Bogenpole now 1 for 3. But he had an RBI on a ground out of the 1st inning. That was the first run of this ball game. It started to look like this might be a rough one for Falmouth pitching. Swing and a miss on a fastball low. So 3-1 runs full. He will get there. Just gets all the way to the Falmouth bullpen. A single with an error on the throw from Carl Schmidt. Second time Von Schlegel will reach. Both times the ball did not leave the infield.
It's a first error for the Falmouth team that leads the league in errors committed.
Schultz finally makes his way to the mound of the leader for the Commodores in total appearances, and the West Division All-Star making appearance number 14. 14 2/3 total innings pitched. He's been able to have those appearances because he's typically a 1-inning guy, just a 2.45 ERA. They might stretch him today.
And that's exactly how Salt Slovakian pitching coach Todd Carroll used him less than 24 hours ago in that win over Wareham, where he pitched the 8th inning. Felt like a very Jacob Schultz inning. found himself in some trouble by giving up 3 singles, but then gets out of the 8th inning, allowing just 1 earned run. He strikes out all 3 batters he faces to get those 3 outs that are needed. We heard from Schultz Lamakia that the idea was to use Schultz and the other all-star reliever, Joe Sabbath, as needed. We might see the right-hander Sabbath next, but I could see Schultz Lamakia wanting Schultz to get the next 5 outs for a hold here in the 40th game of the season.
Schultz has played in some postseason games, at least been in some postseason games for the Vanderbilt Commodores, trying to get some for the Falmouth Commodores. He will have an Rio fastballs up at a 4-pitch walk to Nolan Stevens. And again, 4-pitch walk to Nolan Stevens. And again, feels like we see this a lot with Schultz. An outstanding area, 2.45, but a whip of 1. An outstanding area, 2.45, but a whip of 1.43.
Yeah, Schultz did not walk any base runners when he pitched the 8th inning. Yesterday in the win over Wareham. And the first 3 Commodores pitchers, TJ Coates, Pat Rogan, and Max Stifler, they didn't walk any batters, so that's the first walk of this game for Commodores pitching.
So first and second now, the game-tying run in scoring position, but the go-ahead run on base for the dangerous Jack Natili. 4-3 game, and Natili skies one. Foul down the third base line. That's heading towards the left field grass and will get out of play. Put Natili down. 0-1.
That might have been the highest hit ball fair foul that we've seen.
Down 0-1.
All season long at Gov Fuller Field.
Yeah, I don't even. No one could even read.
Gov Fuller Field.
Yeah, I don't even. No one could even read it. That's why I was worried for the people. In the grass down on the third base line.
Tally has some pop tied for the second most homers on Cape Cod with 6.
Tilly's 2 for 3 today with a couple of singles. And a strikeout. Early, Beaver tried to wait on it, but couldn't wait enough. Counts 1-1. That was his first strikeout of the appearance, obviously, just the first out he records. 0-2, swing and a miss. Excuse me, that was a 1-1 pitch, rather. But you see the fastball and the curveball that he can work. Back with a fastball high on the count. Now we'll see what he can do on Beaver with them on first and second. The game-tying run at scoring position in the 7th. Out of the stretch, the 1-2. Curveball again is a bit too high for ball 2. Just 63 miles an hour on the 12-6. And I think one of the reasons it's so hard for hitters, they think that it's a ball, is because Damari. That run, I believe, will be tagged to Max Stifler, and will be. So Jacob Schultz still hasn't given him today, just 4 total on the season, and now 14 appearances. 1-1 change up, swing and a miss, but a nice block from Eckelman. Got him to chase on the low pitch, and again, Schultz ahead of the count at 1-2. Matthews picked up RBI number 13 of the season earlier in this game, hitting towards the bottom of the lineup, but he has been able to come through in some of these big moments. 1-2 change up, outside and low.
Hi, I'm Justin Osterhaus from Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I'd like to give a special shout out to my parents and my brother, Becky and JD Osterhaus and Brady Osterhaus.
Are you looking for that perfect pregame meal? Supreme Pizza has you covered. Its extensive menu has everything from pies and calzones to salads and subs. And with its online ordering system, delicious food is just one click away.
It's an honor to support the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Supreme Pizza is open every day of the week. Order online or stop by their store located at 147 T-Ticket Highway and try a slice today.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, President of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with
time in the last 5 years. Coming out of the North Coast Athletic Conference. 1-2, called strike 3 on the curveball. Top of the zone, Ken Schmidt knew it. Usually good plate discipline, but that awkward movement from Gray sits Schmidt down on strikes.
Yeah, we talked about it before. Ken Schmidt has the 4th low.
So the 2 lefties in Schmidt and Greger down. Now we will have to face a righty in Adrian Lopez. Commodores have scored in each of the last 2 innings, one on an RBI double in the 5th, and then one on a passed ball, or excuse me, a wild pitch back in the 6th inning. And the guy who scored is at the plate here in Lopez. Credit him with that run too, because he led off the inning with a double. Fastball, cold strike, upper outer corner.
The win that Falmouth picks up, and then Bourne's win at Cotuit. We said, wouldn't it be fitting if the Commodores season ended because of high?
Yeah.
Still got a long way to go here for the Commodores, who only have one.
Back here in the 8th at Gov Fuller Field, that is the day for Jacob Schultz. Only records the 2 outs. We thought it might be 5 outs for him. Only gets the 7. Joe Sabbath comes in, the usual Falmouth closer, who is right behind Schultz in total amount of appearances this year for Falmouth, making his 13th now. Similar ERA at 2.25 in 16 innings pitched. 24 strikeouts to just 7 walks. That's a 3-to-1 strike-to-walkout ratio and another really good whip at 1.13.
And this is exactly what we thought, Ben, that Jared Saltzamakia would do. He pitches Schultz and Sabbath each a little bit yesterday in the win against Wareham, then uses them both here in the regular season finale. For Sabbath, the Cape League All-Star and reliever for the Commodores, picked up his team-leading 5th save yesterday by pitching the bottom of the 9th at Wareham yesterday. Didn't allow a hit, walked 1 batter and struck out 2 for that Commodores win.
New pitcher, also new batter, a pinch hitter for Cotuit, Luke Lavin. The Stanford catcher stands in to...
And a tie for Cotuit sends Kettleers to the playoffs.
If there's any decision, and it doesn't happen that much in baseball, but if there's any decision that you would quote-unquote say playing for a tie, Cotuit would probably make that decision. Leadoff hitter back up, or at least the leadoff spot. With Camden Johnson.
And again, there's a long way from that too. We still got 2 2/3 innings to go. It's going to be a pinch hitter utilized again by Lauren Hibbs. And Sean Martinez into the right side.
Well, we saw Camden Johnson get hit pretty hard by that fastball to the shin. So his day is done. Back-to-back pinch hitters and a couple of righties into the game for Cotuit. Now, with Sean Martinez, the Boston College Eagle, fastball right down the middle for a lot of different ways, too. 2 groundouts, or 3 groundouts rather, and to pop up. Hasn't had a lot of great at-bats either. He took a step back, batting average-wise, in his most recent season at Texas State. He spent 2 years there. Fastball, middle again to make it 0-2. Only 267 this past year. Still had enough talent, had enough tape and numbers to make that transfer up to Auburn in the offseason.
Second Cape League player to go from Texas State into the SEC, as we saw Bourne pitcher Alex Valentin go from Texas State to
here on the Cape. He threw just 2 innings. In his first appearance and gave up 2 earned runs. So that perfect 9 in his first appearance and gave up 2 earned runs. So that perfect 9 ERA. But didn't walk any bats to go with that 1.5 whip. For that second appearance on the summer comes in a huge spot at a 4-4 tie at the bottom of the 8th.
And the South
huge spot at a 4-4 tie at the bottom of the 8th.
And the southpaw added to it becomes the 6th Cotuit Kettleer pitcher into this game. And 11th overall again. The Kettleers looking for a win to punch their ticket to the West Division playoffs. The Kettleers looking for a win to punch their ticket to the West Division playoffs. Falmouth Commodores doing the same.
Squares to bunt, pulls it back. Osterhouse pretty far off the first base bag, but that's because Beaver, the first baseman, crashed. So did the third baseman, new third baseman, I should say. And Martinez. A throw over to first. Really is someone that you have to keep an eye on. At Cotuit at Florida Atlantic this past season, just his redshirt freshman year, he's coming off of Tommy John surgery. But in that first year of college, he got 21 appearances. Bunt on the third base line, perfect one. Martinez picks up, fires to first. Nice pick at first by Beaver. Osterhouse sprints to second. So Eckelman does the job on the sac bunt. Go ahead, run at scoring position.
And he's pumped about that. Again, that's a small ball that Jared Saltalamacchia wants to play, especially in this winner-go-home game.
It's what Saltalamacchia raved about before this team even took the field for opening day. He said, I got a collection of guys who can play small ball and just put the ball in play. And one of those guys who does it to perfection is Antonio Morales. Called strike on the outer part of the plate. Morales has reached twice on a single and a walk today. He's 1 for 2 after striking out in the 4th inning. Led this team in batting average for a very long time before it dipped now to 238. He's been struggling as of late. Change up, gets away from the catcher to Tilly, and a sprint up to third for Justin Osterhouse. And now with one out, go-ahead run stands at third base. A lot of different contact will do it for Morales.
Against Quigley, the Maine Black Bear comes into this game just 6 hours, Ben, after getting to Falmouth for the first time.
Saw Greger with a magical moment in his first game with the Commodores. Throw over to first. Morales not far off the first base bag with 2 outs. Quigley from Halifax, Massachusetts, heading into his sophomore season. Had an outstanding freshman year for the Black Bears before going over to the CCBL. Fastball just off to even a 2-2. Drama from Gov Fuller Field. The rally towels have come out as if from Gov Fuller Field. The rally towels have come out as this is essentially an early playoff game for the Falmouth Commodores. A win needed playoff game for the Falmouth Commodores. A win needed to get to the real playoffs. A loss and a tie will send them home. That's where we're at. A 4-4 tie in the top of the 9th. As Joe Sabbath, who is mostly a one-inning guy, a closer, will jump into this game for his 2nd inning of work. Hyannis still down by 3-3 work. Hyannis still down by 3-0 as they head to the bottom of the 9th over there in McKeon Park.
And we talk a little bit, Ben, about how after a long spring season, 40 games during the summer, some key players definitely checked out, and regardless of the playoff picture, excited to get home. I think Sabbath is the anomaly there. He's a guy who's talked about wanting to be with this group, loving being with this Falmouth team. I think he goes as many innings as needed out of him. This Falmouth team, I think he goes as many innings as needed out of him in this potentially final appearance on Cape Cod.
Faces a tough spot of the lineup, 3-4-5. Caden Bogenpool to lead things off. Change up low into the dirt for ball 1. Bogenpool 1 for 3 today, a double in that 3rd inning. Didn't come around to score. An RBI ground. This is a reminder that this broadcast is a copyrighted production of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Any unauthorized duplication, retransmission, or other Cape Cod Baseball League. Any unauthorized duplication, retransmission, or other use is strictly prohibited. Now the 5-hitter comes up, and Nolan Stevens, with Bogenpool staying put, at first base. Sabbath has now recorded 4 outs. Trying to record 6 to head of the bottom of the 9th. He did go beyond an inning in a start, more of an open in a bullpen game earlier on Tuesday. Steven stands in. He's reached 3 times, 2 singles and a walk. Oh, and he got Stevens to chase. Let's even this thing up at 2-2. Still scoreboard watching in Hyannis. They enter the bottom of the 9th at home at McKeon Park, down by 3. They have put a runner on first base, but there is 1 out in the inning. Of course, again, the situation, if they lose and Falmouth wins, it's these 2 teams heading to the playoffs, the Hawks losing. But even a tie in this game will send Hyannis to the playoffs. Sabbath still waiting on the 2-2. Comes home, way low. This time Stevens does not chase. And the count had grounder foul. No matter what, Carl Schmidt was probably going to wait for that to go foul anyway. We didn't get there in time, but that was probably going to wait for that to go foul anyway. We didn't get there in time, but that'll just be another strike. It'll just be another strike. It is now 0-2 on to Tilly. Remember, that is now 0-2 on to Tilly. Remember, that strikeout looking, back of the 7th inning really riled him up. Back of the 7th inning really riled him up. Had a lot of words to say for home plate umpire Mike Hinojosa before getting back to the Cotuit dugout. He's got a runner stealing today on the defensive side. 2 base hit 14. But he's down 0-2 here. The pitch. High into left center. Both Quigley and Greger going back. And Gavin Greger will pull it in for out number 3. No! Schmidt in the bottom of the 9th. Commodores will try to win it and send themselves to the playoffs. Rally towels out. Commodores bats coming out in the bottom of the 9th on Cape League TV.
Are you looking for that perfect pregame meal? Supreme Pizza has you covered. Its extensive menu has everything from pies and calzones to salads and subs. And with its online ordering system, delicious food is just 1 click away.
It's an honor to support the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Supreme Pizza is open every day of the week. Order online or stop by their store, located at 147 T-Ticket Highway.
First hit in this game, and oh boy, could the script be written any better. The leader for this Falmouth team all season long, honored as Cape League MVP for the first time this season. Everyone here at Gov Fuller Field knows that this is the guy you want, and facing a right-hander makes it that much sweeter for New.
The game was tied 2-2. It was tied 3-3. Here we are tied at 4-4. First pitch to New. Big swing and a miss on a pitch low for strike 1. 0 for 3 today, but he's reached twice in a walk on an error.
New came into this game with a .330 average against right-handers. That leads Cape Cod. 19 runs batted in, and 7 of his 8 homers came against right-handers.
0-1 changeup is low. To lead the league in batting average against righties as a righty is very impressive for him. Leads the league with 8 home runs. That is not at the team lead in RBIs with 23. That belongs to Ken Schmidt. Will hit in this inning. New punches 1 foul. He's down 1-2. Deshane's coming from D3 Seton Hill, where he was outstanding a season ago in a couple of starts with a 4.08 ERA. Most of his appearances came in relief. Team as well, up around 290 on the season. Shanes hasn't pitched an inning on the Cape yet this year, but he can get the top 3 bats in the Commodores. This one, grounded right at Farber, picks it up and throws high. Does he get him on the tag? He got him. Throw went high, got him on the tag, and the Commodores need a win in the 10th inning to head to the playoffs. Kettleers, they just need a tie. Beaver, Matthews, Lavin at the top of the 10th. Where else would you want to be other than Cape League TV?
Are you looking for that perfect pregame meal? Supreme Pizza has you covered. Its extensive menu has everything from pies and calzones to salads and subs. And with its online ordering system, delicious food is just one click away.
It's an honor to support the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Supreme Pizza is open every day of the week. Order online or stop by their store located at 147 T-Ticket Highway and try a slice today.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
I'm Ben Royo, shortstop from Texas A&M, and you're watching Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
Joe Sabbath still on the mound for the Commodores, trying to make it his longest appearance of the season. We're here in the 10th, a tie 4-4 game, and a winner take all. Now, and head home for the summer. The 8-hitter Luke Matthews with a runner on second and 1 out. Change up right down the middle for strike one. Matthews 1 for 3 day. RBI single in the fourth. He gave the Kettleers their second run of the game. It was a 2-0 lead for Kettleers in the first few innings before Falmouth tied it up at 2-2. Then baby steps, 3-2 Falmouth. Cotuit tied it up. 4-3 Falmouth. Cotuit tied it up again. Change up down the middle. Now Sabbath ahead 0-2. It is funny too, Ryan, that unless, actually they'll probably go with a pinch runner with Ken Schmidt would be, as it stands right now, the ghost runner at second base. You have guys with
just intentionally walked.
So Lavin is at first base with still Natili at second. For Sean Martinez making his second appearance, he flied out to left his first time up. Fastball down the third base line, down for a base hit. They're going to wave around the runner. Natili's going to score. It's picked up and left, and the Kettleers have a 5-4 lead at the top of the 10th. Out or the 3. Now the dangerous Caden Bogenpole coming up with them at first and third. They're on the corners with 2 outs. Man, this inning started with a runner on second to Jack Natili. Got Beaver to pop up to second. Got Matthews down on strikes, but back single, or an intentional walk, followed by back-to-back singles from Martinez and Farbers, giving the Kettleers 2-run lead.
We're open 7 days a week, so stop by for lunch or join us for dinner on the rooftop deck. Bring the entire family to try our wide selection of seafood and kid-friendly option. We deliver the freshest products to your plates daily. Jim's Clam Shack, proud supporter of the Falmouth Commodores.
What's up? I'm Kent Schmidt, first base from Georgia Tech, and you're watching Cape League TV.
Work is cut out for the Commodores. They trail by 2, needing a win to get into the playoffs. A win and not a tie. They only play 10 here on the Cape. 6-4 lead for Cotuit. They're out hitting Falmouth 16-6. With a runner on second again, the automatic runner is game-tying run is at the plate. I keep saying it is just the way of thinking about it. The game-winning run is on deck. They want to bring him to the plate. Message from home plate umpire Mike Hinojosa telling the righty Deschennes to engage. 3 balls, 1 strike. Does square around a bunt down the third base line. Picked up at third and bobbled by Sean Martinez. It's going to be a bunt single for Gavin Greger. He's up at first. Going to third is Maroney. Game-tying run on base, not important. Game-winning run at the plate in Adrian Lopez.
Yeah, if you're going to bunt this situation, that's exactly what you want. Gavin Greger lays a perfect one down the third base line.
Martinez just slipped.
No, yeah.
A meeting on the mound or potentially a move for Cotuit. Out comes O'Connor, and it looks like just a meeting for now. See the smiles from Gavin Greger again. In a situation like this, you really need to get on base in a bunt. Not sure Commodores fans were expecting.
It works out in Falmouth's favor, and if I'm a Commodores fan, I love the 2 runners on base. Reese Maroney is a chosen pitch runner to get on this inning, so that's the vote of confidence that he's the guy on the base pass for Jared Salzamakia. Gavin Greger, today's starting center fielder, shows that he has some speed too. Full runners on now for Adrian Lopez.
They're going to leave it to Deschennes. O'Connor makes his way back to the Cotuit dugout. Adrian Lopez has not hit a home run this season. He had 6 of them this past year at Southern California. Infield comes in. Fastball, breaking ball below the knees for ball 1 to him. Below the knees for ball 1 to him. And Deschennes asking where that one missed. I think it was low. Eckelman is 0 for 2 today with a fly-out strikeout and a sac bunt and a walk. He was on his most recent time. 1-0, right back at the shortstop. Farber picks it up. Can he get the right back at the shortstop? Farber picks it up. Can he get the tag? He cannot. Lopez almost caught off second base. Ryan Farber, who made the play of the season already in this game, might have just one-upped it. The play of the season already in this game might have just one-upped him, but they only get the 1 out.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, Farber plays a great shortstop because of plays like that. Knew it off the bat immediately. Almost got his defensive counterpart, Lopez, for an ending double play, a season-ending double play for Falmouth.
Morales had a couple of base hits in the opening day game against Chatham. He's one of the best hitters early on for the Commodores. He's their last hope. First pitch inside. It is still the runner at third in Greger. And Lopez at first base. Batting average has fallen down to .250, but he was still named a West Division All-Star and the All-Star Game MVP. Fastball off the end of the bat, that's strike 1 to even this count up. Hit in every spot of the lineup for Falmouth this year pretty much. Seems like he's played every position in a defensive alignment for Falmouth as well this season. A single can win it and send the Commodores to the playoffs. Anything less, a tie or a loss, ends the season at 40 games. 1-1, grounded right at Farber again, picks it up. He'll throw to first. That'll do it. The Falmouth Commodores 2025 season has come to an end. A top of the 10th inning for Cotuit, where they plated a couple, is the downfall for Falmouth. Back-to-back years of playoff misses for the Doors, and back-to-back 16, 23, and 1 season. 6-5 win for Cotuit. They head to the playoffs, will be the 3 seed in the playoffs and face the Wareham Gatemen. Hyannis Harbor Hawks clinched the playoffs with a Falmouth loss. Will be the 4 seed taking on the 1 seed Bourne Braves in the West Division playoffs. That is a poetic way to end it. 25 total hits in this game, 11 total runs.
Well, partner, after the win yesterday at Wareham, we wanted this game 40 to be meaningful. Have some fireworks and have some juice here in the final regular season game. It had that about 100 times more. Going into the 10th inning, a 6-5 win for the Cotuit Kettleers, who will punch their ticket to the West Division playoffs. This one had a little bit of everything. You had to bring your popcorn here to the regular season finale. That Falmouth comes up just short. Commodores, as you say, will miss the playoffs for the 2nd straight year.
They got the couple of runs on Falmouth's best pitcher as well, and Joe Sabbath, who has been dynamite all year long, but couldn't quite get it done in his 3rd inning of work. A lot of new guys Falmouth called on. In these last couple of games, they made a really nice push. But you can see on the faces that's going to be it for the Doors. They had the MVP and Mike Anu. They had 9 All-Stars that led anybody in the East or West Division. And in the first year of Jared Saltalamacchia, just couldn't do enough to make the playoffs. Third member of our crew, Andrew Della Piana, and the third member of our broadcasting crew all season long has joined Ben Haller alongside Ryan Martin to really just recap this one a little bit and then say goodbye.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal game. But at the same time, I think just the way that this one came through in the 9th inning, where you gave yourself a chance at least, where, again, Cotuit scored 2 runs in that 10th inning. You needed to play for the win. That was kind of the small ball in that bunt to put Lopez into scoring position, but a really good defensive play over at short as well by Ryan Farber on that knockdown. Really heads-up play by Lauren Hibbs as well to put the infield in. Don't know if that was by design to not allow this game to be tied, but either way it worked out. And Lopez was almost tagged out at second, but a phenomenal effort by the Commodores tonight. And despite even Cotuit getting in tonight, it's still a frustrating season end to the Commodores.
I think it's the fight that we saw in this Falmouth team. Right? You go back just a few days ago where Falmouth loses its season-long 6th consecutive game. This looked like a Commodores team that was dead in the water. You get a little bit of help outside of your own control. Falmouth takes it all the way until the 10th inning here. I thought this was a Commodores team, guys, that showed resilience towards the end of the season. You think about the win against Chatham, putting up 4 runs in the bottom of the 8th right here at Gov Fuller Field. And then in that final road game, a 5-2 win over Wareham, to make a day like this possible. That's the biggest thing, is the idea that so many players are checked out, but this is a Falmouth team that fought tooth and nail till the end.
It ended back half of the season 6-14 record in the last 20 games for Falmouth this year after a 10-9-1 start. Andrew, that's just the story of the season, was everything kind of went south in this back half of the year. Even with all the talent they had, it's still a team that had so many guys coming and going, and the pitching staff never had a consistent rotation since the beginning of the year. And the one number to point out probably to the headline missing the playoffs is probably the league worst ERA.
And even to, how about, I'll add you one further, is the opponent batting average of 2 outs. Cotuit both those runs in that inning coming with 2 outs, and that's really been the bugaboo. Teams hitting over 260 with this team. 2 outs, runners coming to score, can't get the job done when there's 2 outs. Look, it was a phenomenal game tonight by Joe Sabath. Kept this team alive in the 8th, the 9th, and was just 1 out away from getting out of it in the 10th. But at the same time, like Ryan said, a whole lot of resilience from this team that really, to I think all of our surprise, to have a chance in this one to still control their own destiny going in today's game was a phenomenal fight. But to just come up short is definitely a frustrating one due to those errors.
Well, look, fellas, it's been an absolute pleasure for spending all 40 games with you two on the headset. Of course, our phenomenal team here, and all our camera reporters, Boone Gross, Alex Bond, Malcolm, and then Kyle Kleim, our director, Dan Papillo, our producer. Outstanding crew. Timmy Weiss is the associate producer too. And I know, Ryan, you have some words in your 2nd year of doing this.
Crew.
As everyone's coming around to say hi.
Back and everyone too. Get on in here.
And this is a year-long project.
William Rose, about William Rose in our public address announcer.
Maybe heard him more than anybody else on the broadcast too, with his phenomenal pregame ceremonies and everything.
Look, guys, this is the most fun I've ever had in a 2-month stretch in my life, and this is a bond with these guys that will last an entire lifetime. So I give a lot of credit to all the hard work that we guys let us do here in the booth, and this is a heartfelt goodbye. I know we'll always be together in some sense, but Doors for life. That's for life.